Jada, Raider critique.
What's up, guys? What's up, chat room? Oh my gosh. Freaking Chiefs. Who?
Play that video.
Paul? Paul. Hello, Paul. Hello, Paul. All right, you bunch of sad sacks. Let's kick off episode number 230 of Raiders Fan Radio.
Jackpot, baby. Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, look top, a leaping top, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio, hosted by Murph, Uncle Mosh, and Swag Jeff. Take it away, guys.
It's not good.
What is up, Raider? What is up, Raider Nation? Sorry. Your buddy Murph. Thank you, Brett Musburger. Your buddy Murph.
I'll be back.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's go straight to the Uncle Mosh
Oh,
Kim.
my God.
What are you drinking over there? What happened?
I don't know, but it's brutal.
You didn't like
you
it?
gave me something, and I was it had this wonderful little name. It was all festive, like me.
Yeah.
It was all festive, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I take a big old sip, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it was lime margarita seltzer.
Mixed with 2-month-old whatever the hell it
Mixed
was.
with 2-month-old, and now I know I wasn't spitting in this cup.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so it was a dip spit.
But it might have been.
There was definitely stuff floating in it though when
So
you
it might
decided
have
to
been
get
some
me to
old
try
Coors Light.
it.
And of course, what I do, I go, here, Jeff, try this. Tell me this is what it's supposed to taste like. I'll be back. I got to go rinse my cup.
Okay, go rinse your cup. All right, so what's up, Raider Nation? Welcome into episode number 230 of Raiders Fan Radio. We appreciate you joining us live here in Murph's Fan Cave for this collective sad sack, this collective disaster that the Raiders season has turned out to be. But we're going to try to turn your frowns upside down, especially if you're on the YouTube. You can tune in and see Uncle Mosh in his Merry Christmas sweater with his suspenders beating the shit out of Swag Jeff. Put him on the ground.
Kill me.
If he doesn't
kill me.
If he don't go to the ground, it's not worth it.
Oh my God.
All right.
I haven't gotten an ass whipping in a minute.
Oh my gosh! I know you caught one over there. You caught a fresh one. So, anyways, we appreciate you, Raider Nation, for checking in with us and during these challenging times as a Raider fan. Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, if it wasn't for you guys, Jeff and I were talking about it. Like, we're gonna talk about the Raiders. We're gonna talk about the game. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. But man, I kind of don't wanna. Like, you can't turn in a 62-year all-time low against your arch nemesis and kind of feel fiery about talking about the team. You know what I mean? So anyways, but you saw Uncle Mosh over there already. He is the legendary Uncle Mosh that adorns the Western Annex of the Murph Fan Cave desk. Let me now pass it to my best friend and yours, Swag Jeff.
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Oh my gosh, I'm with you, dude.
Right?
You know, we're here for the fans. We're here for Raider Nation because the team is not giving us much to go on right now.
We literally, you and I are talking before the show, and you're like, there's only one positive take. And we'll get to all this stuff later. But, like,
yeah,
that's like, how rough is that, dude?
Yeah.
Like, now we got a lot of fun things to talk about the game because of our own personal experiences and what we got to do for the game.
Sure,
but
absolutely.
the game itself, the Raiders themselves, bruh, it's one highlight reel, and that's it.
Yeah. Other than that, it was a shit show.
100%. 100%, man. And so, anyways.
From the beginning.
From the very beginning. And we got lots. We'll definitely get to it. Even though we don't want to, we'll get to it. We'll talk about it. And then we will look ahead. We won't spend a lot of time in the rearview mirror. We're going to look ahead through the windshield, and we're going to look to Cleveland because they only got like 8 guys that are going to dress. So maybe we can beat them.
Are we going to loan them some?
We might win.
We got some shitty players.
I was just saying, we can loan them Doll and leave it. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Poor Doll and leave it. I pick on that guy a lot.
Yeah. Well, because he didn't ever come on the show.
Well, that's true. And he was supposed to. He said he was going to come on the show.
Yeah. Well, he learned from Will Compton how to ghost with the best of them. And so he ghosted me.
Well, he was afraid. So this was before Trent Sig broke the RFR curse.
Yeah.
Because Trent Sig was the first Raider to ever be on the show that didn't get cut, not re-signed, or injured.
Well,
and so Trent broke that. But at the time, Dolan Leavitt didn't know that. So maybe he was just trying to avoid the RFR curse.
Well, so but I mean, the curse may have been totally blown up because Comp was in the studio, did a thing with us, got cut. Or didn't get re-signed. But now he's back.
And now he's back.
So, like, it may have just taken that curse and just completely blown it up.
Truly flying in the face of the curse.
Tell the story of our phone call about Compton.
Which one?
When I called you, and we couldn't hear each other, and we were answering each other. What? Hey, did Compton play on Sunday? No. Compton played on Sunday.
Yeah. Uncle Mosh and I, so we were talking over each other so much. We were so excited to talk to one another because we hadn't talked in a minute. And so, yeah, we kept talking over each other. And so it ended up just us being asking if Will Compton had played or not. And you know, Uncle Mosh, he played a bunch of special team snaps. Let's go. Let's give it up for the boy, man.
He did.
Let's give it up for the boy.
Absolutely.
He's a glue guy, locker room guy.
Yeah.
Well, Lord knows we need him.
It didn't help the first week.
Well, we need him.
And speaking of glue guys, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider in there, $8 donation to the One Nation Foundation says, "Greetings, Nation, a new hope. We can get to 7-7 via forfeit this week. Sad sack." and then we got Tyrone Graves with a $5 donation as well. Said, "Y'all let me know what happened after the Moreau turnover, and we went down 21-0. I tapped out and turned it off."
Oh my gosh! Well, you didn't miss anything good. Yeah, you didn't miss anything good. So here at the top of the show, I'm going to go off script a little bit here because I pulled this up, and Mosh, you'll think this is funny. I ran this by Swag before we started the show. So the Raiders have 7 losses now after this Kansas City debacle for the second time this year. How many stages of grief are there, Uncle Mosh?
I don't know because I bypass all that loss. I'm going to go right to pissed off all the time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, so for those of you that don't know, there are 7 stages of grief.
When's pissed off?
So I'll get to it. Okay. All right. So when you lose something, especially when you lose someone, you go through steps. So we have. I'm not fully, and because look, mathematically, if we beat the Browns, we beat the Colts, we beat the freaking Chargers, it ain't over yet, So I'm not playing it just doesn't matter yet. If we lose to the Browns, then the rest of the season just doesn't matter. We can just tune in, but we've still got a chance, especially with them being down the way they are. That said, so the Raiders season has not been pronounced dead yet. But that said,
it's on its way.
It's on its way, and so since we're at 7, and there are 7 stages of grief. Here's what I've got for you. And it's amazing how the 7 stages of grief have lined up perfectly with the 7 losses for the Raiders, Mosh. So the first stage in the 7 stages of grief, Mosh, do you know what it is?
No.
Shock. We lost to the Chargers. We were 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went in and played the Chargers. Oh,
my gosh, we were
thumped.
The worst.
None of us expected that outcome. We were shocked by it.
We were shocked.
Who do we lose to next, Jeff?
Who do we lose to next? They're all starting to run
Khalil
together
Mack
now.
and the Bears.
Yeah, and the Bears.
And we were in denial.
Uh-huh.
The
Shock
second
denial.
stage, we were in denial. There's like no way we just lost to the Bears at home.
Yeah.
That couldn't have happened. That was John Gruden's last game coaching. Then we found out why. So that was the second stage. Bargaining is the third stage, Mosh. You know we lost to that week?
It was a New York team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Giants.
Yeah.
We lost to the freaking Giants. We were bargaining. We were like, wait a minute. Like, can't we, like, MetLife Stadium? Like, what is the thing? Like, we couldn't get it figured out. We were trying to bargain for it. But then guilt. Guilt because the Chiefs came to Allegiant Stadium and beat the shit out of us, and we all felt terrible about ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
We were also felt so guilty that maybe this is our fault.
Because we started coming back after our Thanksgiving victory, and then all of a sudden,
this is before that.
Yeah.
This is the first Chiefs loss.
Oh, the first
This
Chiefs
is the one in Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, jeez.
I know. All right, but then we got mad. You know why we got mad, Jeff?
Because we lost to Cincinnati.
We lost the freaking Bengals.
That's right.
You don't let the Bengals come into your
miss those
crib.
first five.
Oh my!
Right.
That's where you checked in.
That's where I checked in.
You're like F the Bengals.
F the Bengals.
All right. So then, all right, I went to Vegas. I was so excited. I got to sit in the black hole. I was in the second row of the black hole. I was right behind the A and Raiders. And you know what I came away from that game feeling like? Depressed.
Yep.
I was depressed. I was depressed about the stadium. I was depressed about the fans. I was depressed about the game. I was depressed about all kinds of stuff.
game.
I was depressed. And then now, Jeff, the seventh loss comes at the hands of who?
To the Chiefs.
At a
Again.
62-year rivalry, we have taken the biggest loss in that rivalry.
Yep.
And what do? We accept it. We are who we are.
Yep.
We have come to the seventh
Well,
stage
but
of grief.
don't you? But some say acceptance, to others say hope.
Yeah. Do you have any hope?
I mean, I don't. I don't.
Chat room, you got any hope? I mean, like, what's there to hang your hat on other than there's a puncher's chance? Oops, turn that off. Like, you know, the old Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, we could win 3 out of 4. But Mosh, do you have any hope? I mean, we haven't gotten to talk about the game yet. But just in this, the idea of the grief stages. Or have you accepted what the Raiders are? Or do you have hope that they can still do so? You're the king of positivity around here.
Well, you know, so here's the thing. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I don't believe that you can do personality tests. I don't believe in Myers-Briggs. I'm not an INTJ. I don't believe in orange and red and purple and green. I don't believe that you can, because at any moment, at any given time, I can take a personality test, and all it takes is one sip from an unclean cup, and my whole shit goes in another direction. So I don't buy it. I love your little segment and your 7 stages of grief, but I don't buy any of it.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm here because, hey, it's Raiders football. I get to wear this nasty sweater again, you know, which I wore to the Christmas parade on Sunday, by the way.
Did you really?
Heck yeah, man.
Oh,
I was
I love
driving
it.
Santa's sleigh, and I got to wear my Raiders shirt. But, you know, here's the thing.
Okay.
In all reality, in a real world, where we could say mathematically, because you and I don't do mathematics, we leave that for swag, but mathematically we're not out. We have a chance to make my prediction of 10-7.
Yeah.
But the difference is mathematically we can do it. With this team, not a chance. So
fair enough.
You know, if we had people, when we were saying, oh, we could win out with this, we could win these 5 games, if we had a team that could roll off 5 wins this late in the season, I'd be all for it. Hey, if we do, we do. If we don't, it's just another year.
Just another year.
It's just another year.
And next week we'll be playing. It just doesn't matter because it will just enjoy the rest of the season for what it is.
Even if we win next week. Because we still got to pull off 3 more.
That's right. That's exactly.
And we don't have that team to do that. We got a great team, in theory. We got 53 guys that are that are professional football players, and anything can happen on any given Sunday. But I just, it's just not going to happen.
It's not
this
going to
year.
be the year. It's not going to be the year.
I'm excited to be here with you two.
That's
and-
it.
Well, yeah.
That's what it's all about. And Swaggo, let me throw it to you. Shout out the chat room, and then here at the top of the show, let's talk a little bit about episode number 230.
Yes.
Thank you for all of you that are on the Fansided website and listening to Raiders Fan Radio. Anybody at Just Blog Baby, we appreciate you so very, very much. And if you would do us the kind favor of patronizing this show on any audio podcast service by subscribing, give us a rate, give us a review. If you are on the YouTube tonight, youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Live every week, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. If you're watching us here, we appreciate you here very much. Hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, all that. But then please go out and seek us on the audio version. The reason we ask you to do all that is that 100% of the money that we generate with this show goes to the One Nation Foundation, and we get some incredible advertising opportunities, including one later on tonight, a new partner of ours we're going to get to. And so thank you so very, very much for helping us out in that way. It just take you a second to hit that subscribe, even if you don't listen to it, man. Just subscribe to it, download the damn show, and then mark it played. Okay. All right. Swaggo, episode 230, homie. What you got?
Absolutely. But before I do that, Michelle Sweat, Randy Hansen, Tyrone Graves.
Coach Hansen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Tyrone Graves, Mark Thompson, Seattle Nick, who says, I'm just here to lick my wounds. Misery Love Company. Paul is in there who says, commitment to F it. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Kevin the Raider Nerd, Wyo Raiders in there, Wyoming Raider. We haven't seen him in the chat in just a little bit.
Hey, Wyo.
Yeah, man. Fargo Raider, D the Sun, Kill Jadis, Raider Critique, T3 Sports Guy, Chronicles of the Black Hole, Tyrone Graves. We've got all kinds of people in here. But yes, every episode, I take a significant moment in Raider Nation and relate it back to the episode number. And we're all sad sacks this week.
Not me.
Sad sack.
Yes, you are.
No,
we're
really
all, we're all
No,
sad.
I'm really not.
Well, you're just a pissed off sack, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. What are you messing with my light, pal?
I'm just turning you down. You just don't ignore me.
Okay,
You let me produce on the
Stop
fly.
messing with my damn light.
I'm making
I
you
thought
look.
I looked
I'm
good.
making you.
You didn't. Here we go.
You look better now.
Well, thank you. Yes, episode number 230, and we're going back to a time that we all love. 1983.
Oh, let's go.
1983 season, and we're going to talk about the leader at the helm, Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett.
Number 16 threw for 2,935
guy.
yards and 20 touchdowns.
Beautiful.
In his Super Bowl season, he completed 230 passes.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Jeff. Nice one, dude.
Thanks, Jimmy P.
Love that, man. That's a fantastic one. Good
I
job,
know, right?
Swag. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Uncle Mosh, give us some contact info, and then let's get on to the top of the show.
Woo! Hey, Raider Nation. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an updated contact info. So sit up, zip up, shut up, and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murph would say it, 909-345-3346. How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me.
You email me.
Show at RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes? Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. The Twit at Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. Insta something. Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. The tiki-tiki-taki-talk. TikTok at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about the Twitch? Some of you out there twitching. Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube. America, go to the YouTube. YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good. We had about the same timing as the offensive line.
Yeah.
about to say. About as good as the Raiders on that play.
Somebody jumped.
One of us was Brandon Parker, and I think that was me. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, so appreciate you joining us here for Raiders Fan Radio. Of course, the flagship show here on your Raiders Fan Radio feed. You can find us anywhere just by searching Raiders Fan Radio. But not only do you get this show, you get the incredible Silver and Black flashback, because you know what? That's all we got is Raiders history right now. So we're going to celebrate it around here. And the guy that handles that show for us, his name is Rich Schmelter. Last week's episode about Ted Hendricks was one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Did you hear it yet, Mosh?
Good. So good.
So freaking good. The insight that Rich has. Of course, he's the author of the Raiders Encyclopedia. So he brings, he's literally got Raiders history completed in his brain. And the thing, like, as old school of a Raider fan as I am, and as much as I'm into the legacy and the stories and the mythos of what the Oakland Raiders were back in the days and the Santa Rosa training camps and all that stuff, there was a couple new stories that came out of that Ted Hendricks episode, things that I hadn't heard yet, and that were fantastic. So definitely check that out. The new episode out this week from Rich, and that show drops right before ours does on the audio podcast. You can't get it if you're on the YouTubes. It's called A Pair of Hawks, One Ring, and a Sexy Nude Jogger.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, so check that out. That's episode 19 of Silver and Black Flashback, and we appreciate our buddy Rich Schmelter. All right, let's get to some respect. All right, we don't do props. We don't do shout-outs around here. There's nothing wrong with those things, but, we're Italian. We like to give respect. So I want to give respect to one of the coolest crews that we've hooked up with yet since we've been doing this whole Raider thing. I'm going to switch to the fan cave camera. And if you look there, for those of you on the YouTubes, you can see up on the right there, you see the big banner for Music City Raider Nation up there. I'm rocking their shirt, which is one of the coolest freaking Booster Club shirts there is. Looks like the Jack Daniels logo. It says Music City Nashville Raider Nation. So we were very thankful to welcome Music City Raider Nation to the fan cave this last week for the Chiefs game. An absolute, as you all know, because you saw it, a terrible game, but the fellowship, the camaraderie.
It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. When we say Raider Nation is family, it's no joke, man. It's La Familia, and like, the food was amazing. Like, the company was amazing. Like, and there's something about Jeff. Because Uncle Mosh didn't get a chance to be here because he was driving Santa Claus in the parade with his Raider sweater. But Swag and I kind of hosted everybody. And so let me give respect to not everyone in Music City Raider Nation. And there were so many of them. So I apologize for not naming everybody, but there's so many. But Bam Raider, who's the president of the club, he's the one that organized all this stuff. Like, we met him at Michelle's party, and he was like, cool, like, we'll do it. And he did it all. Like, we didn't do a thing.
He coordinated everything and all that. And I mean, he brought swag. He brought all the flags and the shirts and stuff for us to buy.
You provided walls and a TV.
That's all we did.
I cleaned up here.
And they all brought food.
All of them brought food.
You missed it, Mosh. And shout out. We'll follow that up with shout out to King Louie, who wasn't able to make it to the event on Sunday, but sent Michelle and Lamont here with all the tacos and quesadillas and stuff.
Gosh. It was so freaking good.
It was,
yeah. Oh, yes. Man, so good. So good. And so we appreciate King Louie, appreciate Bam. We appreciate Michelle. You mentioned Michelle.
And Bam's in the chat, too.
Hey, what's up, Bam?
Yeah, Bam. He said the best watch party this year. Thank you guys for hosting us.
Oh, man, absolutely, man. It was great. We got to meet, and everybody brought their families. We got to meet his wife and his well, we met his wife before, but his sons. Like, it was so cool, man. And so just, like I said, man, Raider Nation is family. It's no joke. And, of course, Michelle and Lamont were here. And Michelle's always the highlight of the watch party because
she might be the best person to watch a Raider game with.
Like, no joke, man.
No kidding.
No kidding.
The best.
She's hilarious, man.
She's freaking hilarious.
Pacing around.
And followed shortly by Lamont, who's just sits over here in his same spot in the corner.
Okay.
I sat in your seat for most of the game, sitting next to Lamont, and he goes, "Man, these people are tripping, man." Like he's just like all these quiet jabs, and they're incredible. Lamont is a freaking
funny.
man.
So I was sitting next to Lamont at the first Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And Michelle and her daughter are behind us, and Lamont goes, "You got a phone?" I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Might want to take it out. I think they're going to rumble." I was dying. It was so funny.
So funny. So Lamont had the same chair. He had the same spot. And then when it was going really bad, Lamont got up and I sat in the chair and it got worse. So he goes, Murph, get your ass out. Like I'm taking my chair back. Anyways, it was so fun, man. We had a great time with everybody. Love Music City Raider Nation so very, very much. We thank you for coming and hanging out with us. And this will need to be an annual thing for us.
Oh, for sure. Let's pick something in the first 6 weeks of the season, though.
Yeah, right.
That would be epic.
Yeah, we need
because we'll win.
Because we'll win. Yeah. First 3 weeks of the season for sure. So we'll look at it at a September next year for Music City Raider Nation to get together here.
Well, you know what? We're always on prime time, like the first week of the season.
Right. We always get a Monday nighter.
Let's do that.
Pre-buy or the pre-buy week.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So appreciate them all very, very much. That was a great time. And again, when you're with everybody, it makes it a little bit easier during the loss because we were cutting up. You know what I mean? We're all laughing, having fun, and like, Bam goes, "Hey, can you play Sweet Caroline?" And I'm like, "Sure." So we play Sweet Caroline, and it gets to the part where he goes, "Sweet Caroline," and everybody goes, "Ba ba ba," but instead they all go, "F the Chiefs!" Like it was great, man. It was so funny. All right, so appreciate them, and Mosh, hit us with an audio break, and then I've got a live read for you.
Hey, this is Pete Koch, former Los Angeles Raider. Yeah, back in the old days, baby. And you're listening to Murph and Uncle Mosh, who happens to have the same hair as me. Check it out, Raiders Fan Radio.
Michelle in the chat says, she goes, even when we force Swag to stay in the bathroom.
Yeah, let me tell that story.
Tell that, please.
So I go to the bathroom because I've partaken in several Modelo's, and so I broke the seal. And so I was in the bathroom every 15 minutes, and I was in the bathroom when the Raiders scored. They were driving down, and I come out of the bathroom, and Michelle goes, "Stay in that bathroom, Swag! The Raiders are about to score." And so I had to stand in there and heard all you guys cheering, and I peeked my head out, and everyone's like, "Stay in there! What are you doing?" And then I was able to come out because we missed the extra point.
I was going to say, did you come out for the extra point?
Yes,
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes out, and we missed the extra point.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, my gosh. All right, so I mentioned at the top of the show, top of the show, we are thankful for our partnership with Fansided and them hosting this show here at Raiders Fan Radio. And on the Fansided network, there are a multitude of shows, and I want to tell you about two new ones. One of them is called Knuckleheads. This podcast brings you on some of the best NBA players, past and present, and they have a kind of unguarded conversations about sports, culture, basketball nostalgia. These are NBA vets Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles. They're lifelong friends and bona fide truth tellers. As they invite special guests, they have high-profile athletes, musicians, entertainers, and they get brutally honest about everything from current levels and current events to untold stories from the golden era of sports and culture. Named for on-court celebration, they made wildly popular this unfiltered, hilarious, and surprising podcast. It's like playing NBA 2K with no fouls. So,
nice. So
go check out the Knuckleheads podcast. And then there's another one here on the network on Fansided. It's called Blindsided. This is launched by the Players Tribune, which the Players Tribune, Mosh, is only professional athletes hosting their own podcast.
Wow.
And this one is about mental health, and it's called Blindsided. It's former NHL goalie Corey Hirsch and psychiatrist Diane McIntosh. So you can plan your work and work your plan. For many athletes, saying such things, such as this, could be considered scripture. Permanent signposts lining the long road to success in sports. For some, the very act of pursuing a career in sports can give a sense of control, a sense of safety, so long as you stick to the plan. That is until life happens. The kind of life that happens when you're making other plans, breakdowns, insecurity, panic attacks, PTSD, addiction, sudden life changes, ones that require an athlete to toss aside their well-laid plans and answer the question, what's your next play? So Blindsided is a podcast about sports, mental health, and life.
Wow. That's crazy cool.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
Linebacker, number 41, Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
And if they go out there and embarrass themselves, everybody's on notice. The GM's on notice. The head coach is on notice. Derek Carr is on notice.
Yep.
Everybody in that building is going to be on notice if they go out there and embarrass themselves.
Everybody is on notice if they go out there and embarrass themselves. That is said by the GOAT. That is Charles Woodson. That is not a voice taken lightly within Raider Nation. And the Chiefs go out there and beat us, as we've said already a few times, at an all-time worst defeat, 48-9 at Arrowhead Stadium. I've got an entire list of things that I'm going to run through in terms of stats, because again, not an exercise in like dwelling in negativity, but I think it's important, like for us as Raider fans, to just go through it, man. Like, look, it's the truth of it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of rolling through what it is, because look, it really can't get any worse than what it was. But before I get to that, I want to throw it to the guys. I want to hear from Swag, Jeff, and Uncle Mosh on this. Swaggo, what are your kind of like? I know we kind of talked about the lack of hope and all that, but like, what are your like feelings like coming out of this thing? I mean, with not only with what's left, but out of the Chiefs game in particular, what's the big takeaway for you on it?
Well, Charles Woodson said it. The team is now officially on notice. Derek Carr, who among about half of Raider Nation has been on notice for quite a while, but he's definitely on notice now. Everyone's on notice. It was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. The drinks and the food were great here at the fan cave. That was the only thing that was good. It was absolutely it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I will never understand how a team that hates the opponent so much, or is supposed to, lay an egg. That was the worst loss I've seen. And I've seen some really bad losses. You know, when you go out and you shit the bed against a team like the Falcons last year, or the Jets in 2019, or you can name a bunch of them where the Raiders just happened to have a bad game at one point and just lose one where you're like, what was that? That was weak. This was the weakest of them all. You're supposed to come out fired up every time you play a rival. You're supposed to come out fired up to play the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs more than anybody, and especially the Chiefs.
Especially the Chiefs.
And there was no fire. There was no passion. There was no heart. There was nothing. And it seemed like every offensive possession, we were all just kind of waiting to see how are they going to mess this one up. Whether it be a Foster Moreau fumble, a Hunter Renfrow fumble, whatever, a Derek Carr strip sack. You know, there's 100 different things that happened during that game, and it was almost expected. You know, last week I said that it seems like every time the Raiders lose this season, you can tell that they're going to lose within the first 5 minutes of the game. You can tell coming out of the gate, oh no, we're going to lose this game. Because you can tell what kind of drive and passion and all that the team has coming out of the gate. And for it to be, the first play of the game, Josh Jacobs fumbles the ball because he's holding it way out here and gets stripped. And, 12 seconds into the game, we're down a score. And we're like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be one of those games. And it was from start to finish. And we didn't even see the second half drive come out where, like, normally second half we come out and we kind of make it close during these losses and go, oh, okay, I see a little bit. Let's keep fighting. And then something happens. But we didn't see a bit of that. You see Rich Bisaccia going for a field goal when we're down 35-0.
This room with 20 people in it collectively lost our damn minds.
We lost our mind.
Like, what the hell are we doing?
What is happening? What is happening?
Down 35. We're kicking a field goal.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But if you weren't wearing a number 13, you were awful, and that includes Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue, who Yannick brought everyone to midfield to stomp on the Chiefs thing, and then go out and do what you just did. Like, Hunter Renfrow was the only spot in that game that is worth talking about at all. It was absolutely and utterly embarrassing.
Absolutely. I did very well said, Jeff, all of that. Mosh, so as Jeff mentioned, Yannick Ngakoue marches him out. You and I talked about the idea
that was the highlight.
We kind of, there's a, now of course, after the game is over, the Raiders have egg on their face and they look silly. But in the moment of it, you and I were like, okay, like this is what we've been calling for, is the Raiders to have some edge, some aggression to them. Like we were looking for that. But here's what happened: that the Raiders march out there, go out to the opponent's logo, and then it's 28-0 21 minutes later. Like, come on, man! Like, sheesh. So what are your takeaways there, Mosh? I know you're the positive guy, but like, I mean, how do you feel coming out of the game?
Well, why are we dwelling on this?
We have to.
We don't have to.
Sure we do.
No, we don't.
Yes, they do.
You asked me a question. Let me answer, hot dog.
Okay.
We don't have to dwell on it. We suck. We suck.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a highlight that when they went out and they jumped on the Kansas City Chiefs logo, that was ballsy. That was old school. That was that little glimpse. But then we can sit here and we can rehash and we can go, oh, we suck. We know we suck. We suck again. Okay, so let's not dwell on it. I mean, what else? I mean, so we're gonna go. Oh, we had this many missed opportunities. We had this many missed opportunities. Yeah. Let's speculate on this. Let's speculate on that. For what? Yeah. To what end?
Because this is a Raider football show, and people ask us.
Oh, come on! I'm talking about the vibe of it, man. Do we really need to rehash how awful that game was? It was the worst. It was one of those games. I wish I could remember that word, and I was sitting here on my phone trying to look it up. It's one of those games where the score has never been done before.
Oh yeah, it's the first time in NFL history.
What's that word? It starts with an S, and so there has never been a final score 48-9.
Shit. That's your S word for you.
But there was what was funny was there's also never been a score that was 48-11. So even if we would have made the 2 points,
I got you. Yeah.
We were destined to have it, and it happens 5 or 6 times a year. Like last year, it happened 7 times. This year, it's happened 6 or 8 times. But I just can't get into the. I know we're bad. I know. I know that you're so. I'm pointing at Swaggy J for the people on the radio. You're really wanting Mariota to have a chance. You and a lot of people are wanting Mariota to have a chance.
Absolutely.
But there's just not things that are working. Since John Gruden has left, even before he left, things just aren't working. We're just not good. We just can't get our shit together. And, and what's happening is that we know we're bad. Do we need to keep rehashing it from this end where we can't do anything about it? We can talk about our fandom. We can talk about where we're going to go from here. But it's just, we're not very good. And we accept that because we're doing a podcast on a Wednesday night about a team that's not very good because we love that team. But we're just not very good.
Well, I think what's interesting about it, and here's why I think that is piqued people's interest, and that people are interested in hearing us have discussions around the low level of play and what the numbers are and what those things are, is that it doesn't start off that way. If this is the 06 Raiders, if these are some of the Raiders teams of the past, they never get going. Like when you're 4-12, you're 2-14, they never get going. So what's so, I think, fascinating about this version of the Raiders, and I understand the unprecedented tragedies and things like that, but in terms of, we are now though turning in unprecedented failure on the field after starting off amazing. And that's why, Mosh, I think that it's worth walking through some of these things, because it's hard to understand. It's hard to look at where we go. Ahead, Jeff, jump in.
Well, I think, yes, I totally agree to your point right there. When we start out so good, when we go into the bye week at 5-2, we're like, oh my gosh, like maybe
Here
this
we
is the year
go.
that we turn it
Yeah.
around, and then we start losing. But then we hear guys like a Josh Jacobs. I'm frustrated as hell with Josh Jacobs after what has transpired in the last week, because he played a bad game on Sunday, but a couple days prior, and we talked about it last week on the show, Josh Jacobs called out the entire team last week and said, why can't we start fast?
And then
he's the guy on the first effing play of the game that gives them a gift. Like, come on. And then you look at a guy like Yannick. Yannick has been balling out this year, one of our best players on the defensive line and really the entire team. And he leads the team to the middle of the field and stomping on the Chiefs' arrowhead.
It was my favorite thing in the whole season.
It was awesome. But you know what would have been better? If they would have followed up and actually played like those old school Raiders.
Sure.
So, and it's just frustrating when you see things like that, but you saw the way that they played. And yes, we lost Henry Ruggs. We lost John Gruden. But, I mean, the rest of the guys are still there. Two players, I mean, you want to talk about people that blame Derek Carr? It's not all those two players. Those two are one coach and one player. They were not making this team what it was. It's a 53 or 55-man roster. And what happened to the 54 or 52 other guys? Like, we just shit the bed.
And you're right. You're right, Swaggy. You are 100% right on that. But there is positives. The fact that we got that guy, our accountant, who has in the last 3 games has made 30 passes or has caught 30. You probably have that stat, Josh.
I do.
He's caught 30 passes for over 335 yards. And that hasn't happened in a bazillion years. So, I'm the forever optimist. I look at the highlights because that guy's going to be here next year, regardless of whether it's Mariota throwing the ball to him, or Carr throwing the ball to him, or Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball to him. And I make that joke because that's who replaced Mariota. But the point, sorry.
It was fine. I'm glad he did because he's here now.
Because he's on the right. He's wearing the right jersey. The point is that you just I can't get wrapped up in 1 through 7 or 1 through 6 of those things that you said about signs of depression, because it doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do me any good at all.
All right. Well, here's what so in the spirit of positivity, because of for Uncle Mosh, I'll give you what those stats are because I'm a stats guy. I hate math.
You love stats.
But I hate math, but I love numbers. And so if I had a bunch of positive numbers to share, I'd do it. And you hear me do it all the time, even amongst losses. But just happens to be on this one, the pendulum has swung really effing hard in one direction, except for one note, and that's Mosh's point. So Hunter Renfrow has 30 catches for 353 yards in the last 3 games. So the only players who have had more than 100 yards in 4 straight games, listen to this company that Hunter Renfrow's in. Michael Thomas, who's done it 5, Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace.
Wow.
Calvin Johnson, who also did it 5, and Wes freaking Welker. Like, that's the kind of company
that
Hunter Renfrow is in right now. So, yes, there is definitely something to be celebrated when it comes to Hunter Renfrow. Now, on the other side, the Raiders, and this is what I can't wrap my brain around. This is why I want to talk about it, because I think in the spirit of discussion that you guys so many times, like I'll go into something and be like, I don't get why this is like this. But then, or it might be the chat room or whatever. Like someone will give us something back that will help with wrapping our brains around some stuff. So bear with me, Mosh, but I want to walk through some stuff. The Raiders have lost 13 of their last 14 road games in December and January versus teams with winning records. The only win was when they won 15-12 in Denver, and that was Khalil Mack's 5-sack game.
Wow.
So aside from an unprecedented performance by a guy that could be Defensive Player of the Year, the Raiders have lost 13 of 14 games in December and January. So this is not even like the past couple years. Now we're talking about stringing together how many games that the Raiders can't close it out late in the season. I don't know what that's a sign of. And this is where I again, the spirit of discussion. Like in chat room, tell me what you think it is. Like, what is it? Is it coaching? Is it player? Like what? I don't know. Is it all Derek Carr's fault? I don't think so. But I mean, like, that's a lot of losses coming in those 2 months. Jeff, you mentioned Josh Jacobs. His utilization over the 3-year career he's had, he went from 88 yards a game in 2019 down to 71 in 2020. He's at 47 yards per game now here in year 3. Of course, his carries are down. He's only got 12 carries versus an average of about 18 in the first 2 years, but he's played more snaps. Like,
yeah,
it's so crazy to me.
It's frustrating when you got a guy like that came out his rookie season like Josh Jacobs had, where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the next Derrick Henry. He's a superstar." And
he was like a little Derrick Henry.
That's we said that in the first 5 minutes of the
absolutely.
show.
Yes,
and now it seems like last year and this year he was outshined by his backup. And I understand
the game we went against the Dolphins. Peyton Barber ran for like 140 yards.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So so last year you can look at it. I mean, because Devontae Booker stepped in.
That's right.
Last year for Josh, because
Josh,
he's starting to get hurt a lot, and I know that affects his numbers because he's not only playing so many times a game, whatever. But yeah, I mean, Devontae Booker outshined him in several games last year, and Kenyon Drake has outshined him this year, in several games, and that's what our running game now is failing because Kenyon Drake isn't in the lineup.
Well, and it's also failing because we don't have an O-line.
Thank you, Mosh.
Well,
that's a good point. That's a good point too.
And we went from an All-Pro O-line to a first-year O-line.
That's a great point.
Absolutely.
And it's just again, that's part of the whole 53 man. How many coaches have we had? Let's just pick 8 years. That just so happens to be how many years Derek's been here. But how many head coaches have we had? How many defensive coordinators have we had? How many offensive coordinators have we had? How many O-line changes? I almost dropped the Michelle right there. Did we ever get rid of Rodney? I mean,
Rodney and Gabe both.
And yes, there's stuff there. And if anybody that says to me, well, it doesn't matter with the head coach, I'm going to say, really, how many head coaches did Tom Brady have when he was at, How many head coaches did that big stupid in Pittsburgh have when he was winning his? How many head coaches did Peyton have? I'm sorry, but
Marino.
Marino.
Montana.
There's something. There's something to be said for that, and I'm not saying that it's all out there, but that all plays into it.
Absolutely.
And Swaggy was going on and on and on about the running game, but you can't run if you don't have a block.
You're absolutely right.
That's a great point. So let's. So speaking of quarterbacks, look, this is going to be my Derek Carr segment, and this is I'm going to set my disclaimer on the front end. Not a Derek Carr hater. I know not a Derek Carr hater. I'm the biggest Derek Carr fan there is. He's my favorite quarterback in the NFL until he's not a Raider, and then we'll move on. But here's some numbers. So the Raiders fumbled for the cycle in this game. So we had a running back, a tight end, a wide receiver, and a quarterback all fumble.
No.
So for those of you that are familiar with the baseball, you hit for the cycle, it's a single, double, triple, and you hit a home run. Well, we fumbled for the cycle because we had 4 positions that all fumbled the football. That would have been Josh Jacobs, Foster Moreau, Hunter Renfrow, and then Derek Carr, right? So Derek Carr now has 72 fumbles and 123 starts. That's not good. That's more than half the games, because I did that math. That was pretty good. More than half the games, he's fumbling. Derek Carr's average completion traveled 2.2 yards downfield today. That's the game day. The second shortest mark in his Raiders career behind the Seahawks game in London in 2018. Derek Carr threw 35 of his 45 passes for the Raiders, short of the first down sticks. Why are we throwing 3 yards downfield when it's 3rd and 6? Somebody help me with that.
You know why? I can tell you why. You
Please
want to
do.
know why? Let me tell you why, you dumbass.
Tell me.
Let me tell you why.
Educate me, Uncle Mosh.
Because they listen to this show. They listen to the show and they know that we flash back. and that we talk about the olden days. The problem is they're not listening to the part about the olden days when we were good. They're just going back to the olden days like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we sucked.
Any other season that wasn't 2016?
That's the problem.
Derek must listen to the show because we call him Check Down Charlie, so apparently he thinks that that's what he has to do.
But, you know, early on in the season, that wasn't an issue. And now it's come back.
Well, here's what's crazy. Okay, so there you go.
Why did we sign Deshaun Jackson?
But apparently
we may as well just cut him.
Apparently he doesn't know why we signed him either. Here's the thing. This is what's interesting. So, gosh, this is crazy. So, yeah, you're right. At one point, and it may still be that way, Derek Carr led the league in passes downfield of 20-plus yards. Like, our offense was opened up. And now all of a sudden, this is what's crazy to me. This is why I can't wrap my brain around.
They were screaming MVP.
And yes, and now we've gone all the way back. And here's what, look, this is why it's tough as a Raider fan for us to understand this stuff. I'm going to play a soundbite for you. This comes from The Godfather. This comes from The Maverick. Listen to these words. This is what the Raiders were founded on.
We were going to stretch the field vertically. When we came out of the huddle, we weren't looking for first downs. We didn't want to move the chains. We wanted touchdowns. We wanted the big play, the quick strike. They tell quarterbacks, take what they give you. That all sounds good to everybody, but I always went the other way. We're going to take what we want.
We're going to take what we want. We don't worry about first downs. We're not worried about completions. We want damn touchdowns. Derek Carr threw 8 of his 45 passes on Sunday, more than 7 yards downfield, and only had 4 completions that traveled more than 5 yards downfield. I mean, look, go, Jeff, please jump in.
Well, you know, we're talking about stats. So after week 14, the top 10 passing leaders in the NFL, Tom Brady, number 1.
Who's also 60, I saw, since he's
years old?
Just about.
Since he's been with the Buccaneers, 60 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions in the red zone.
There you go.
Yes, unfreaking believable.
There you go. So you got Tom Brady going to the playoffs. Derek Carr is second. I don't understand that. I mean, yes, he threw some balls down the field. I don't understand that. But then you got Matthew Stafford right underneath him, playoff quarterback. Justin Herbert, playoff quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, playoff quarterback. Kirk Cousins, whatever. Josh Allen, playoff quarterback. Joe Burrow in the hunt. Dak Prescott, playoff quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, playoff quarterback.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, these stats, this is what the people that will ride or die with Carr no matter what, this is what they lean on. But I don't care about this. I want the win-loss record to look good, and I want to be a playoff I want to have a playoff quarterback. Right now, we don't have a playoff quarterback.
We got Kirk Cousins.
You're stuck, Swaggy. You're stuck. You're in the minority right now.
I don't think so.
Because you are stuck on the damn scoreboard, and you need to quit that. You need to quit looking at that scoreboard, and you need to just get that out of your system and focus on other things.
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. All right. So that was funny. Derek Carr is the first quarterback. I'm almost done. We'll move on. Derek Carr is the first quarterback to complete at least 33 passes and lead his team to fewer than 10 points since Carson Wentz in 2019. All right, so here we go. All right, so that's enough about Derek. Okay, we're not going to pick on Derek anymore. I know who we could pick on. Let's pick on Gus Bradley, Captain Innovation over there. Okay, God. Listen, Gus. Hey,
who you canonized when we got him. We all did.
Oh, we all did. And love him still. But this dedication, look, it's the Tin Cup thing. If you haven't seen the movie Tin Cup, it's Kevin Costner. He gets to this spot in a golf tournament, and he's trying to make a shot. He's trying to clear this like water thing, whatever, water hazard, okay? But he's in the lead for the tournament. Misses the shot. He could take the drop and close out the tournament and still win.
Right.
But instead, he says, no, I'm going to make the shot. So instead, he keeps trying, and he keeps trying, and he keeps trying, and he never makes the shot. And slowly, he works himself down the leaderboard, and he loses the tournament that he was leading. And if he would have just taken the drop, he would have won. Okay? Gus Bradley's commitment to the cover 3 defense is unbelievably
Tin Cupish
and ill-advised when it comes to playing the Chiefs. So when you look at the Chiefs, which it ends up being a too high safety for the Raiders, they've faced two high safeties less than 40% of the time in only 2 games this season. You want to guess which two? 28% against the Raiders and 24% against the Raiders in week 14. One of the big plays that blows my mind. Part of the cover 3 is that you have a deep dropping middle linebacker. But they have to match up with wide receivers, and when their name is Tyreek Hill and your defender is Corey Littleton and Patrick Mahomes extends the play by getting out of the pocket, guess what? You're going to effing lose that every single time.
Look,
so why not adjust from a coach's perspective, Mosh? Help me with this.
Sports are 2 things. Sports are... most of them are a game of inches, right? Of course, football has been coined. But sports are, especially the one that we're passionate about, football, is a game where you have, and I'm going to go slow, matchups.
Amen.
And if we're not producing the matchups, then are we that short on people that we have to continually go with the same matchups? Isn't the definition of, get Sonny on the phone, isn't the definition of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over again?
That's what Tyrone Graves said.
Different result.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
If I could read this damn thing, I would... but that's the
That's
point.
a great point.
You know?
Yeah.
It's matchups. And if our matchups, if we don't have the players to do those matchups, then we need to try somebody else. Okay? Now, again, and this would go back to what Swaggy would say, well, the matchups aren't working between the quarterback and the receivers, so put in Mariota. But is Mariota going to have that kind of time with that weak offensive line? I don't think so. I don't.
But he can extend the play.
That's what's
Possibly.
interesting. And that's what's interesting about. But Derek can too. And one of the best plays.
Won't.
But he did. This blows my mind. One of the best plays of the game. Derek steps up, avoids getting sacked, steps to the left in the middle of the trash of the line of scrimmage, dumps it down to Hunter, who takes off for like 15 yards, and we're all going, yes, that was amazing. But then so many times when Derek steps back and he's got time, check down.
Right.
Check down.
Right.
It's like what?
Well,
it's I just don't understand.
And I
want
to jump off of what Uncle Mosh said just
please,
a little bit,
please.
or feed off of it. He's talking about matchups. We all remember watching the Super Bowl this past year.
Well, we try to forget it, but
because it was a horrible game as a Raider fan because we didn't like anybody that was playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But remember the game plan against the Chiefs? Pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure.
Blitz the guy. Put this guy on his ass. Mm-hmm. And we saw the results. How is that so hard to understand and comprehend?
Yeah, and Levante David and Devin White had monster games.
Yes. Why would you not do that against him? Because that's how you rattle him. When are we going to get a coach in here that understands if you put pressure on him, he becomes a little more inaccurate because you know he's going to be trying to do these Madden 22 throws between the legs
and all that crap.
Dipsy doos, whatever. Put this guy on his ass, even if you don't get a sack. Get pressure on him. Well, I just don't understand that.
I agree, and and it's funny when you look at back, I'll never forget like the Patriots Super Bowl against the Panthers, or like you see some of the ways that teams will beat the Seahawks, Russell Wilson or whatever. Like they hit them every single play. Like even if they allow completions, even if they allow like short dink and dunk type stuff, they're still hitting the quarterback on every single play. And I know it's tougher even than recent history in today's NFL, but that's an excellent point, Jeff. Like, let's just freaking hit him. If he's going to make plays anyways, if you're going to lose by 39 points anyways, you might as well beat the shit out of their quarterback in the process. Like that's Al Davis football too.
Well, and that's the mentality that we used to give to the guys covering deep. If you know you're going to give up that ball and it's going in for a touchdown, get the PI.
Just get the damn PI.
Because if he's going to catch that and score on you, you live to play another day. Amen. On the 7 or the 9 or the 14 or the 2, but you live to play another day. And that's what we're not doing. We're not sending these guys in going nutso on the front line. But again, that's that Gus Bradley not blitzing Not, why is Jonathan Abram not just standing back there, moving his feet, and then going in and killing somebody on every play?
Absolutely, I agree. I'd scrape him as like a linebacker type. I mean, it's I'm with you, Mosh. That's a great point. Okay, last one, and then we'll move on. So the Raiders have moved to now the 14th overall pick in the draft. Actually, I got two more. The 14th,
good.
Yeah, 14th overall pick in the draft. So everybody's looking at some Michigan players, of course. A lot of these stats I got tonight. A new follow for me on Twitter is Raider Nation Boston. If you don't follow Raider Nation on Boston on Twitter, check them out, man. Great stats, great follow there for the Raiders. Here's the last one. All right, and let's end on this. Let's go to Uncle Mosh, and then Mosh throw it to Swaggo, and then we'll hit a break. I mentioned earlier the room collectively lost its mind when the Raiders decided to kick a field goal down 35-0. When the Raiders were down 35-0, and they have a play in the game plan that goes behind the first down marker, that's a coaching issue. That was cited by, one of the most positive, kind, nice people in Raiders media, highly respected. I think this guy is one of the best representatives of Raiders, like beat writers in the media, is Hondo Carpenter. That was Hondo's quote. The Raiders have coaching issues if they don't have it. Then he wrote, all capitals, wow, and then they settled for the field goal. We love Coach Bisaccia. We love Coach Olson. We love these guys have been nothing but kind to us, extended conversation. We've and nothing but enjoyed. So this is not coming from a negative space, but Mosh, that's hard. And when you got one of the biggest supporters of this team and celebrators of this team calling them into question, as a coach, man, like what would you say? Okay, if it's not me and Swag, if it's Olson and Bisaccia sitting here, what do you say to them?
Well, they're not going to change. They're not going to. Spots aren't going to become stripes in the middle of a game. Okay, and if they have the same thing that the point I made earlier at the top of the show, if we had the team that could peel off 4 victories left, then we would be in the playoffs. But we don't have that team. So we don't have the team that's going to pull out all the stops and go, you know what, it's 4th down. Instead of kicking a damn field goal, let's just go for it. That's not the mentality that we're dealing with. And that's what I think Gus Bradley's problem is because he's stuck with that cover 3. I think that's the problem with the offense, that we're not in that mindset. So they're not going to change. Because people would go, if we went for it instead of going when you're down, they'd go, oh, that's so ballsy. That's great. That's great. That's great. But we're not, that's not in our game plan. That's not in our DNA. That's not in our makeup right now for this team. That's not what we have to do. So that's why we didn't do it.
So is that an indictment then of the talent? Is that the coaches?
No, absolutely not.
Basically messaging saying like I can't trust you to do this, so I'm not going to put you in that spot.
I'm not saying that at all. I didn't say that.
No. I'm asking a question.
And I'm saying, and I'm answering. It's not an indictment at all. It's saying that that's not where they feel their strengths are.
Okay.
And so they're not going to do that. And by sticking with what they have, what they think is going to win, it may be right, wrong, or indifferent, but it's what they know and it's what they planned for. And it didn't work. It just didn't work.
I got nothing.
All right, let's catch a break and then we'll get on the next segment.
I'm not playing any current stuff. I'm going all old school tonight.
Okay, let's do it.
And we sure can use this guy's help.
Okay. Oh, let's go.
Hey, Raider Nation. Just want to say hello. This is Pastor Mondo of NationMinistry.net. You're listening to Raider Fan Radio with Uncle Marsh and my brother, Murph. Just win, baby.
Okay, I got one more for you, and this is hilarious.
Come on.
Okay. So on the Raiders' drives this year against the Chiefs, we have 8 punts, 7 turnovers, 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal, and 1 turnover on downs.
Nice.
The Chiefs have 10 touchdowns, 4 field goals, 2 victory formations, 2 punts, and a missed field goal. All right, I'm done with that. All right.
give a shit about the Chiefs. What kind of stupid thing you've ever said?
Oh,
You get
my
two for
gosh.
that.
Jeez. Okay. All right. So, if you hadn't heard, so Divine Diablo, one of and I'm skipping around a little bit here because I forgot I do have.
You're all right. You're good.
Divine Diablo, rookie defensive back for the Raiders, number 5. A lot of the criticism out there of the team this year has been the lack of leadership, and from prominent positions. And so we still, whatever, you can question that however you want to. The truth that we saw this week, though, is that one of these young men who's a rookie on this team absolutely stood up and was willing to, while it seems like a slight comment, I think that the messaging is loud and clear. And check out what Divine Diablo said about how some people are handling practice.
Personally, I feel like a lot of people would just, lack of better terms, fold. They'll just lay down and come to practice not ready to practice. And I know I'm a rookie, but I don't want my teammates to do that. I'm going to make sure they're ready to practice, and we bring that intensity every day.
First time we've heard something like that in years.
That's an incredible comment from that young man. I love it. I love the messaging. I would have loved to have heard that from Derek Carr.
That was a ballsy thing for a kid to say.
Really was, right? I mean, for a guy he's not fighting for a roster spot, but he's definitely fighting for playing time. He's just recently started getting in the lineup. And so I applaud him for that. I mean, I think that's important. I think that messaging is important to get out there. And it's important to hold people accountable. And he certainly is. All right, I got one more for you. This is interesting, man. Okay, and this is, I landed on this because, let me get my notes together here. I landed on this because coming off of the last week, the Washington game, I mentioned I went to the game and it was a weird environment. It was, to me, I'm not saying that Allegiant Stadium is bad. I'm not questioning Raider fan necessarily, but it's just so different and you guys heard me kind of rhapsodize about that, about kind of lamenting, Oakland and the difference in it and whatnot. Well, listen, I'm one guy. I'm here in a bonus room with my best friend and my uncle, and we're here talking about this Raiders team, and we're just podcast hosts. But when it comes down to the 1 and 1A of Raider super fans, it is Gorilla Rilla and it is the Violator, Wayne Mabry. Wayne Mabry got interviewed by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and I want your guys' response on this. I'm going to read it, but then I want you guys to jump in because I've already given my feeling on this. So I want to hear from you guys. Swag, let's go to you after I get done reading this,
okay,
and then throw it to Mosh. The article goes like this. Consider this. Raiders sold out their personal seat licenses in January 2020, foreshadowing what have been a sellout after sellout in a city supposedly thirsting for professional sports. But they've yet to fill Allegiant Stadium with a capacity crowd, and gobs of empty seats have been prevalent throughout the season. Most recently, last Sunday, the Raiders played the Washington football team in a pivotal matchup between teams jockeying for playoff positioning. Not even in the gravity of a long-awaited regular season opener in September of the 14th against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football could prompt an Allegiant Stadium sellout. Average attendance inside Allegiant is 61,000, and it's 65,000 in terms of capacity. Swarms of opposing fans contribute to that average by flocking from their respective markets to Vegas when their teams play the Raiders. Those who root for the Bears, the Eagles, the Chiefs, and Washington have been particularly impactful this season, cheering as loud or louder than Raider fans during games. Opposing players have noticed. I'm not used to playing away games where you have a crowd that can rival the home crowd. That comes from Chicago tight end Jasper Horsted. He said that in October after beating the Raiders in a game in which the noise from the opposing crowd no doubt contributed to the Raiders committing 10 penalties for 82 yards. They're making so much noise, you saw a lot of penalties that are caused solely because of that. Ardent Raiders supporters like Wayne Mabry, the Violator, have been taken aback by the way opposing fans have infiltrated their stadium. Fellow Raiders diehard Christian Weiss says it doesn't make any sense. It's like, what's going on here? I love the entertainment there. It's on a different level than we've ever had in Oakland. Mabry said, acknowledging various pregame, halftime, in-game acts. It's Vegas, so they had to raise the bar to be a part of that. To that point, the majority of the Raiders fans who do attend home games tend to be more tame than they were in Oakland. From my point of view, this is Wayne quoted, from my point of view, it may take 2 or 3 seasons just for them to let that sink in. The team feeds off your energy. If you're sitting on your ass, there isn't any energy. I'm speaking as a fan. Forget corporate. We're talking in the seats. Me personally, it's like I'm in some visitors effing stadium.
Yeah.
Damn. Like, that is, like, again, you're talking about the legends of superfans. That
he was just inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
There is no more higher royalty. So my question to you is that I want to hear your response on that, but also on the heels. So the team is floundering on the field, and now we have this thing. Like, I was glad to read that, Jeff, and I'll set you up a little bit with it. I'm glad to read that because my thoughts and what I came with on the last show about that experience, like, it was kind of validated there. Like, he was kind of vibing with the same thing that I was feeling there.
Yeah. There's nothing like Oakland. There was nothing like it. Opposing fans were terrified to come to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. That fear is no longer there. It's Las Vegas. It's a touristy town. People come from all over. Those are the destination games where if you see as a different fan of a different team, you circle that one on the calendar and go, oh my gosh, that would be such a fun vacation to go to. So you're going to have that in Las Vegas no matter what. The Oakland feel is gone. But it also doesn't help when you have the results on the field that you have. So after a few games, when they crap the bed and they lose, now some of your even more passionate fans will say, you know what, I'm going to go get my money back. I'm going to start saving up for next year.
Right.
So they start selling tickets to Chiefs fans and to Washington fans and to Bengals fans and all that stuff. So, you know, they work hand in hand. You know, yes, the team needs home field advantage. They've got to have it, you know, because there's some games during the season that those extra fans and that extra noise and stuff like that will change a game. You know,
absolutely
a false start penalty, you know, something like that. That will change the entire outlook of a game just in a matter of moments. And, you know, but can you begrudge a fan for selling tickets when the product is what it is? You know, I mean, that it does shock me that it wasn't sold out the first part of the season or a full stadium.
Yeah.
You know, that game against Baltimore was an epic game. It was an incredible win, you know, especially looking at the way Baltimore has played. You know, I mean, that was a huge win to start the season. And that surprises me that it wasn't full then. But, you know, these games now, the game you went to against Washington, it doesn't shock me at all to see that it was probably half Washington fans. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I wouldn't go half, but it was the key locations around the stadium, like the black hole.
Right.
Like, that's what was so surprising to me. Because, like, when I went to the Dolphins game, it was not like that. There wasn't a bunch of Dolphins fans running around. And so, Mosh, when we talked about when the Raiders went to Vegas, that like how where we live outside of Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville's got the same thing going on. But Nashville's not Vegas. We love Nashville, but like it's not Vegas. And so you have people that are planning their vacations around and all that. But tell me about like what are your thoughts about that? About someone like Wayne kind of coming out with those comments?
I love Wayne. Wayne's awesome. Wayne will always be one of those figureheads that is just he's just amazing. I've got his little card right here. But we went through this a little bit. You don't remember, but when we moved to LA, we went through that. But the problem is that, and let me back up. It's not a problem, but the LA was easily more the ability to assimilate into what we had at Oakland. You know, we've got Pete Koch on here on our thing, and we've got so many of our listeners are from LA. The older ones are with me on that. They can remember. I would have loved to have been in LA and gone to one of their tailgates. I'll bet they were amazing. I'll bet they were just as good as what we had in Oakland. I'll bet they were phenomenal. I'll bet the food was crazy and just the vibe and everything was crazy. But you still had some of that old school mentality, okay? We've moved. We've moved on. We have new owners. We have new mindset. We have a new home. It's not Oakland. It's not ever going to be Oakland. There's some things that you can bring from that, like we talked about with the Vasici and the tailgating and the Modelos and all that. That can be part of it. But we're not ever going to have a trough to piss in at Allegiant.
No.
You know, we're not ever going to have that. We need to move on from that.
Okay.
People are never going to ever be scared to go to Allegiant Coliseum. They're not. It's not going to be there. So we can't chastise Raider fan because Raider fan is a different fan than it was back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, that's what I want to ask you then. So, and I'm sorry, Jeff, because you're more recent to this thing, but I want to ask you then, Mosh. So then, are we talking about I know we're never going to stop being Raider fans. I'm not talking about the whole general scheme of things, but we got to kind of adjust our expectation here of what.
We have to adjust our expectation every year. We haven't been. Somebody in the chat said, and it was scrolling past me, and all I caught was that the people haven't feared us in 20 years. And they haven't. They haven't feared us in 20 years, and they won't until we're good. They won't until we're good. And until we get that golden ticket, Charlie, we're not going to have the secret. And until we start winning, why would we not sell our tickets to Washington? Why would we not sell our tickets to whatever? When you don't have the product, you're not going to have the people to buy it. And until we can get that product, those seats you can't get a seat to a Tampa Bay game right now in Tampa Bay. You can't get a seat to whoever you want to talk about. When Tom Brady was in, and I know we bruise him, but he's an easy one to use. When they were in New England, you couldn't get a seat in New England. Because people don't want to give them up.
Green Bay. It's hard as heck to get
Oh, my gosh, unless you're wearing a stupid cheese head. You'd look really funny in a Raider jersey and a cheese head, But you know what I'm saying?
Great point, yeah.
Well, and I'll say that, and it's like that with every team. When the team is good, fans will come. Mm-hmm. I've seen that, when I grew up here in Middle Tennessee and went to a ton of Titans games, and when the Titans were good, you couldn't find a seat either.
Give them a reason. Give them a reason to come.
But yeah, the product on the field was fantastic, and so people came, and people wouldn't give up their tickets. It was a hot ticket. But then going through the mid to late 2000s with the Titans and the early 2010s and stuff like that.
Oh, they were awful.
They were terrible. And so it was another one of those things where it was a touristy attraction. Go to Nashville, go hang out and go to the honky tonks and go to Broadway and do all that stuff. And Chicago fans and whoever, Raider fans.
we saw 20,000 Raider fans show up there.
The first time I was on Raiders Fan Radio, I was at that tailgate, and it was probably 70% Raider fans at Nissan Stadium.
It was crazy.
And we are that we have always been, and we always will be, that blue collar group of the everyman kind of team, and that was our origin. But again, so many of us are getting like me or getting old, and we want to pass that legacy on to our kids and our grandkids and everybody else. But we gotta have something to show them. We gotta be able to say this is why we do what we do. And if it's not there in today's whatever generation they are, who are into instant gratification, here, if I can't pull it up on my phone. Okay, and so that's when I hand them my phone and go, here, Google Black Sunday.
Yeah.
We're still there. We're still you, me, Jeff, Michelle, King Louis. We all work for a living. We gotta take our funds and go, okay, I'm gonna put this on the Raider game, and but if I can sell that one, it's just. Once we get a product worth selling, you're going to see the vibe change. You're going to see it change.
Well, and I like what Aaron the Q-Dog Raider says in the chat. He was talking about it pushes the casual fan away. When the product isn't good, the casual fan that, they all got a Derek Carr jersey and a Raider hat, and they'll go to the games because it's fun to watch them because they're good. But when the team is bad, it's only the passionate fans like us that'll be there all the time, no matter what, no matter who, good or bad they are. But the team, especially moving to a new city, Las Vegas, what is a touristy city? And so you're going to have a lot of the casual people just strolling in and going to the game, whatever. But if you're not going to give them a good product, then they'll say, okay, well, I'll just go back and root for whoever, Right. So putting a good product on the field is going to bring more of those casual people in that, those casual fans filled part of the Alameda Coliseum as well.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And look, and Oakland had its attendance issues too. There's a reason that all those tarps are on the top of Mount Davis. Like, it wasn't like Oakland never suffered from attendance issues. I think it's the disproportionate amount of opposing fans that are coming in. But Mosh, that your point resonated so much with me, is that here we are, and because we hear it from our younger fans all the time, like, when's it going to be our turn? When's it going to be our turn? We hear about all these old stories from you guys, but your point is so critical that, like, well, all my boys, I have an 18-year-old son, and I have a 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old son. All they know is the Raiders suck. That's all they know.
Right.
There was one blip on the radar, but on Christmas Eve, it was ripped out from underneath us because Derek Carr broke his ankle. That's it. Like, their whole life, the Raiders have been terrible. So they know Dad's a crazy fan, but they're not crazy fans. They like it. They support it, but they're not rabid fans because what is it they got to root for?
Right. Yeah.
4-12?
Exactly.
It's what I root for.
Let's hit a break.
Patrick Claybon with NFL Network here. Hey, folks, I know 3 things you might like. Do you like football?
What are they, Patrick?
Do you like the Las Vegas Raiders? Do you like listening to things? I'll add a 4th. Do you like swag? Well, here we got Swag Jeff, Murph, Uncle Mosh. This is Raiders Fan Radio.
I appreciate everybody checking in here for episode number 230 of Raiders Fan Radio. Let's talk a little bit about this upcoming game against the Browns. Look, there's a chance. We got a shot. Baker's out. They have a ton of key players that are out.
Their head coach is out.
There's literally no reason the Raiders shouldn't win this game. I mean, yeah, it's on the road, but it's only 38 degrees, which is balmy in Cleveland terms in December, especially late December. Like, there's no reason that the Raiders should not win this game. And frankly, if they do, I don't care how down the other team is. The Raiders can only control what they can control, and they're going to play the team they're going to play. And so as long as Myles Garrett doesn't go both ways and turn into an offensive juggernaut like he is a defensive juggernaut, then the Raiders got a pretty good chance to win.
Hey, if he goes both ways, that's his business, all right? Don't get all crazy on that. That's up to him. We ain't passing judgment here.
No, we don't judge. You ever see that Family Guy skit where the Italian family finds out about the alternative lifestyle of the one guy's name is Joey? And he goes, "Hey, Ma, he's just creative. He's a backwards mechanic. He likes to play in the dirt."
Oh, my gosh.
So funny.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Jeff, so what do you think about this Cleveland game?
Well, I'm totally with you. We should win. They only got like 13 active players on their team that doesn't have COVID. So,
This should be there's not even a lot to analyze, right? You wouldn't think so.
There shouldn't be. We'll find out on Saturday, whatever, in the first 5 minutes of the game. The team seems to play to their opponent. So when the opponent is shitty, they're going to play shitty.
Yeah.
Except for, the Chiefs games where the Chiefs have been good and the Raiders, they don't play up to their opponent. But yeah, it should be a slam dunk. Why not?
Why not, man? It should be.
The frustrating part is we haven't had one of those games yet this year.
What?
I feel like just like a slam dunk, like beat their ass. I guess.
Well, the Eagles game.
Well, the Eagles game sort of
pretty definitive for us.
Yeah, pretty definitive, and I guess the Broncos, but like one of those freaking just kick them right in the teeth games. Like, and this is lined up to be that game.
It should be.
You've got your leader at the helm out with COVID. That should be, and Case Keenum is also out.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah.
Oh, so who's going to even start a QB? I don't even know who their third stringer is.
Oh, shoot. It's a guy he played for He played for the 49ers a couple years ago.
Oh, Nick Mullen?
Nick Mullen.
Oh, shit. You know, that guy destroyed us.
Yeah.
You remember that? Do you remember that game?
I remember that game.
Oh my gosh, that's
like
terrible news for
34-3 or something.
Yeah, that's
like
terrible
that,
news for us. I think that was a Monday Night Football game. When the chat room will know.
Yeah.
Shout them out. Who's in there?
Yeah, we got Watts Raider, Tyrone Graves, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Storm, Fabricator Gill, Paul is in there.
Paul?
Storm is in there. Fargo Raider, Randy Hansen. Let's see. Tyrone Graves, Mark Thompson, Raider Loco is in there. Let's see. Scroll up. Kill Jadis, Michelle Sweat is in there. We've got the whole crew, man.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you, chat room. And hey, let's see on the comments there. Is this a slam dunk for us, or are we crazy? Like, I mean, I know we've been playing, like, literally turned in the worst game in 62-year history, but I think this is a slam dunk game. I don't even think that there's a lot to. You can't match us up against second and third string players and not expect to win. Like, I mean, they're still the Raiders. They're still an NFL football team. They're still talented as heck at so many different positions, and we've seen them do well. We've seen them respond well. So, I mean, and frankly, we play on the road better than we play at home. So I think we got a shot at this. I think we got a shot. Mosh, what do you think?
Well, so I thought a lot about this week as I was doing whatever I was doing, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe this should be the week that maybe we should do the point counterpoint. Maybe this is the week. Shut up, Tyrone. He says, yeah, while you were driving around playing Candy Crush. Shut up.
Because you were.
I only do that at the end of the driveway where I can get internet. But maybe this is the week when I pick Cleveland. Because for the last 6 weeks, I've been saying, this is our defensive game. This is when we're going to break out.
Yeah.
And everything I claim goes the other way.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go negative. And I'm not superstitious, but I like a good superstition. We're going to get killed. Raiders are going to get killed. We're going to lose by 60. We're barely going to have enough. We're going to fumble every other down. We're
going to fumble the fifth version of the cycle where an offensive lineman picks up a fumble and then fumbles it.
That's the only thing else I can say. That's the only if that means, because everything else I've said on the predictions for the games for the last since 2003 have gone right to hell. So I'm going to say that we're going to lose by 148 points.
Nice.
Love it, Mosh.
We're not covering any spread. Everybody in Vegas is going to lose. It's going to be ugly.
I love it. Fly in the face of danger, Uncle Mosh, man. I love it.
Come on. And I'm going to be there watching.
Heck yeah, man. Every single snap. That's right.
Absolutely.
All right, let's hit I got a Raiders and pop culture for you. Let's hit a break.
Oh, let's go with Brockman. He makes me laugh.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from The Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from The Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening to Murph and Mosh on Raiders Fan Radio. Yes!
Foxy Scorpio says, we probably get on the wrong plane and go somewhere else and have to forfeit.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. That's awesome. All right, we'll show up to play they're not the Indians anymore. What are they? Cleveland Warriors?
Is that what they are now?
Yeah, I forget whatever their new team for the Indians is. Okay. All right, so real quick, before we get to Raiders and pop culture, I do want to give you a couple of off-the-field announcements. So the Raiders today, or at least Allegiant Stadium, was awarded Super Bowl, so LVIII, that's 48, yeah?
Yeah.
So Super Bowl 48 is coming to Las Vegas. It's scheduled for February 11th, 2024. Originally, it was going to be played in New Orleans. But when the NFL added the 17th game, that bled over into Mardi Gras. And they didn't want a conflict with Mardi Gras, so they reassigned it to the Raiders. Mark Davis today, this is interesting, thanked all 31 owners and the whole 9 yards.
I know what you're about to say.
Right? When you're not winning on the field, it's nice to win off it.
Wow.
Oof.
I think that's shots fired.
I think that's way shots fired. Absolutely. And like Charles Woodson said, everyone's on notice. One last thing. So speaking of everybody being
Frank
on
from
notice.
NorCal says that is Super Bowl 58.
Thank you, Frank from NorCal. See, I don't
Frank
do math.
knows.
I can't do math. I can't even do Roman numeral math, man. That's why I talk about the Raiders Super Bowls as like, oh, it's Super Bowl 15 or Super Bowl 18.
Right.
All right. So here's interesting. Under the new NFL rules, again voted on today, teams can start to interview potential GM and head coaching candidates any coaching candidate during the last 2 weeks of the regular season. Starting December 27th, teams must interview minimum of 2 external minority candidates for GM and 1 for head coaching position. So interesting time for the Raiders where likely we're going to be hiring a new head coach. It's good that the Raiders are going to get a jump start on that versus prior years. All right, so let's go to Raiders and pop culture. So this is one I've got for you from last week. I didn't have a chance to get to it because we were running along. I'm going to hit this real quick, and then we're going to jump into the Sea of Fans. So this comes to us from our buddy Scott Gilbranson, who on his show talked about a time, Mosh, where Hunter S. Thompson,
know him well.
Hunter S. Thompson interviewed Al Davis. So I'm going to play the clip for you where they were talking about this on the show, and then I went back and I found the interview and the article that Hunter Thompson wrote about Al Davis.
Was when Hunter S. Thompson decided that the Raiders were a national story. And in a lot of ways that really did popularize them, because here's a story about not just the football team, but the owner and the nature of the team, which appears in Rolling Stone magazine. And he was attracted to them because they had a Hells Angels image with the black and silver uniforms. Players like Phil Villapiano and Tom Keating did ride motorcycles. They would go down to Mexico and they would ride with the Hells Angels. And they were maverick players and led by this maverick owner. And Hunter Thompson spent a lot of time with the Raiders around 73, and Davis gave him this weird interview, which is, if you read what Thompson had written, you never really could tell what was real with Thompson. And according to this interview, it was like Davis was talking about global warming and environmental determinism and all this stuff. It's like, wait a minute, is this an actual interview that Al Davis had?
All right, so Al Davis is famous for never talking about anything else but football. So that's why it was taken with such a grain of salt. But so I've got so again, I found the article. So here we go, Raiders and Pop Culture. This is a famous author of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and lots of other things. I'm not as familiar with his work, Mosh, other than Fear and Loathing. But he used to write for Sports Illustrated. And so he went and he says this: it's worth revisiting when the Raiders were weird and good. In 73, Rolling Stone sent Hunter Thompson to embed with the AFC West team. Thompson was deep into gonzo journalism by this point, and as an avid football fan, he desperately wanted to chronicle a session with what was arguably the NFL's strangest team. Trouble was, Davis didn't trust Thompson, and neither did the Raider players, who the Rolling Stone writer plied with cocaine in order for them to open up. And this is according to Robert Draper's history of the groundbreaking magazine, which is Rolling Stone. And the funny caveat to that is that Thompson tried to write off the coke as an expense. What is follows is Thompson's first interaction with Davis, as reported in Fear and Loathing at the Super Bowl. So this is Thompson's words now in the article. The other was a small, wiry man in a tan golf jacket with a greasy ducktail haircut who paced along the sidelines of both fields with a speedy kind of intensity that I never really noticed until he suddenly appeared very close to me, and I heard him ask a sports writer from the San Francisco Chronicle who I was and what the hell I was doing there. The conversation took place within 10 yards of me, and I heard most of it. This is Al talking. Who's the big guy over there with the ball in his hand? His name is Thompson, replied the Chronicle sports writer. He's a writer for Rolling Stone. The Rolling Stones? Jesus, what is he doing here? Did you bring him? No, he's writing a big article, Al. Rolling Stone is a magazine. It's different from the Rolling Stones. They're a rock music group. Thompson's a buddy of George Plimpton, I think, and he's a friend of Dave Bergen. You remember Bergen? Holy shit, Bergen, we ran him out of here with a cattle prod. So I saw Smith laugh at this point, and he was talking again. Don't worry, Al. Thompson's okay. He wrote a good book about Las Vegas. Good God, I thought. That's it. If they read the book, I'm finished. By the time I'd realized that this strange-looking bugger named Al, who looked like a pimp or a track trout, was in fact the infamous Al Davis general manager and de facto owner of the Oakland Raiders, then I knew I was in big trouble. Davis glanced over his shoulder at me, then spoke back to Smith. Get that bastard out of here. I don't trust him. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So Hunter S. Thompson came to prominence in 1967. He embedded himself for an entire year living with the Hells Angels.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he wrote this. He wrote an amazing piece about them. He was very politically oriented, and he tied politics into a lot of things. There's a really good article about that an interview that Sonny Barger, who was the president de facto still probably of the HAs, and he talked about a situation that Hunter Thompson had got into where he got in a fight with one of the brothers. And,
oh, no way.
Yeah, he was saying that the guy and his old lady were having an issue, and he smacked his old lady, and his dog bit him, and so he kicked his dog, and Hunter Thompson stepped up and said, hey, anybody that would, smack a woman and kick a dog, and the guy drilled him, and he's, stay out of it. And Sonny Barger was saying, after living with us for a year, you should have known to mind your own damn business, kind of a thing. But he wrote, that's what jumped him into, and they called it grunge writing or what?
Gonzo journalism.
But he had a lot of health problems. He had a lot of drug problems. He ended up killing himself at 67 years old. He shot himself, and a lot of people came to his funeral. There was a lot of people that but he had tons and tons of health issues. But he wrote all kinds of stuff, very politically oriented. When the 68 Chicago stuff happened at the Democratic National Convention, he was right in the middle of it, and I mean he was right. He was that head of that counterculture Ken Kesey kind of thing, and so everybody growing up out there remembers Hunter Thompson. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. That's good. That's awesome insight, Mosh. Love that, man. And yeah, so the guy, I love his interaction with Al Davis. Like it never happened. Like he never got a chance. Al just booted him out. Like Al just didn't want him around.
Nah, I don't need you.
Yeah, I don't need you. All right, let's hit the C-Fans mailbag.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied. He throws. It is. He caught it.
All right, appreciate everybody checking in with us here at Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 230. Stacy Rough Raider says, damn it, I was on the Facebook page. It was like crickets. Here's my peeps. No offense, Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah, man, this is the gathering point. And so you can find us each and every week at youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. That is 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check in with us and the rest of the most amazing chat room and community in all of Raider Nation. We appreciate you so very much. And before we get to the emails and voicemails, which you can email us, 909. Email us show at RaidersFanRadio.com. You can call us at 909-345-3346. But also join us live, and we appreciate you so very much. Swaggo, who do we got in there tonight? And then Uncle Mosh, give us the emails.
Yeah, of course. We said we got Stacy Ruff in there, Michelle Sweat, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Fargo Raider, Aussie Raider Aaron, Randy Hansen, Watts Raider is in there, Ebony Graves, Tyrone Graves, Killed Jadis is in there, Fabricator Gill. Let's see who else we got in there. Megan Garrison is in there.
Megan?
Mark Thompson, Storm. We got everybody. Paul is in there.
Paul.
Hello, RFR family. This will be a two-part email. After an embarrassing showing last week to the Ketchup and Mustard team, we are once again faced with an off-season of uncertainty. And the most burning question is surrounding the owner and his decision for the future of this organization. To address the elephant in the room, no, Mark Davis is not selling the team. No, the team is not for sale. And even if it was for sale, the average Raider fan couldn't even afford to buy the franchise. Second, who will the Raiders pick as their next head coach? Names have been circling around. Names like Dabo Swinney. the Bills' offensive coach, the Bucs' offensive coach, and my personal choice, Jim Harbaugh.
Oh.
Let's take a look at Coach Harbaugh's record in the NFL. Granted, it was for the wrong team in the NFL. Regular season, he was 44-19-1. Record for a winning percentage of 695. His postseason record is 5-3 for a winning percentage of .625. Even though it was for those god-awful Niners, the man is a proven winner. He absolutely knows what it takes to win at the NFL level, and he has proven he can get results quickly. Coach Harbaugh will bring a winner's mentality to the Raiders and have the balls to go for the jugular, something this current coaching staff doesn't have. The only question with Harbaugh is his position of power and how much say he'll have in personal decisions. Stay tuned for part 2. Yours truly, Matthew Mingus, 2020 Gemini Man Award winner, most saltiest loser 2021. Hello, RFR family. Here's part 2. In the first part, I broke down Coach Jim Harbaugh and why he's my pick for the next Raiders head coach. There are just questions regarding his role in the team. There's the question of how much power he'll have in personnel, and I think he won't be a Gruden-type hire where he has the final say in who gets drafted. I truly believe he will work alongside the GM and build a roster that will contend for championships. The second is, will his NFL coaching career come into effect? In his last season as an NFL head coach, he went 8-8 and missed the playoffs. While this is a disappointing season by his standards, this is his worst record as a head coach. That's something we look forward to. I truly believe that there will be no power struggle, that Mark Davis will run the franchise. Mike Mayock will run the personnel department and have the final say in who becomes Raider, and Harbaugh and his staff will coach. Yes, I said it. Mike Mayock will survive the year and remain GM. This first-round track record isn't great with Farrell.
F to the E to the R to the R to the E to the L to the L. It ain't Farrell.
Arnett, bust. Farrell, bust. First-round track record isn't great with Farrell, bust.
F to the E to the R to the R to the E to the L to the L. It ain't Farrell.
Franchise pieces were found, though, for the future in Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs, Trevon Mullen, and Hunter Renfrow. Trayvon, Malcolm. Free agency hasn't been kind to him, but this year he's done well, getting the likes of Casey Hayward, Yannick, and Denzel Perriman. This year is a wash, but with Coach Harbaugh, we could go on a run similar to what the Niners did, only this time we will finish the job. That's all for me. Yours truly, Mangus the Matthew. Proud Made Man, 2020 Gemini Man Award winner, 2021 Saltiest Loser winner.
Good job, Matthew.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're all well and ready for another interesting show. Before I rant, I'd like to add my condolences and best wishes to everyone affected by the tornadoes last week. Amen.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you for that.
It's a horrible, helpless feeling to see such devastation and loss of life. Okay, deep breath. Here we go. Welcome to the Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm fairly sure the RFR family will want to state their case after Sunday, so I'll try and keep it brief. He says that 4 pages.
Nice. Brief. Here at the top of the show.
It's like a legal brief. I had a lot more to say originally, but I've calmed down a little since then and ended out the stuff with Michelle's would have been proud of me. You know that feeling you get when a limb feels numb through lack of circulation, you know what I mean? Well, that's the feeling I've had in my stomach since Sunday. I did think initially it was the sweet chili chicken I've been eating, but no, it turns out my soul is hurting.
Oh,
I thought it was a wonderful festive gesture by the Raiders to give the Chiefs an early Christmas present like that, because we sure as hell put that game in a box and wrapped it in a ketchup and mustard ribbon, didn't we? Well, we've all seen some pretty bad games over the years, but that one has to be one of the worst. The whole thing being magnified because it was where it was, who it was against, and the manner in which it happened. It's not on any one player or coach either. That was a collective brain fart. If ever there was a collective brain fart, that was one of them. It was an inept a performance from so-called professionals. This was the worst as I can remember for a long time. How can such a meaningful game be over so easily after 20 minutes? Embarrassing doesn't even come close. As I said, it wasn't on any one player or coach. It was just a complete surrender in the worst of ways. As if the game wasn't going to be tough enough, we pressed self-destruct on the very first play. Although we could argue that we pulled that thread when we held a players' meeting on their logo before the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for showing that filth as little respect as possible. Hell, I'd have dropped my drawers and dumped on the damn Arrowhead. But if you're going to make that kind of a stand, make sure you're going to walk off the field at the end of the day with a W. Don't play
Not
as
a
if
deuce.
you...
Oh, nice.
Or a Cleveland Steamer. Don't play as if you've never met each other before. The truest comment I read after the game was the rest of the season is now one big job interview. And there must be quite a few people having sleepless nights right now. I still firmly believe that there are a number of good players with great potential on our roster. Enough for a good coach to work with any. All they need is good leadership, which brings me to a question for you all. The good ship Raiders appears to be rudderless at the minute. So just who is our leader, if we have one at all? It sure as hell ain't Coach Bisaccia. DC looks to me as if he's running on empty. As much as I like Mike Mayock, he's gone very quiet as of late. There are some serious big decisions to be made and some big questions. And we have to start at the top and work our way down. Mark Davis isn't a football guy. He's a fan for sure, but he's not like his dad. Football was Al's lifeblood, and Mark just hasn't got the football knowledge for the decisions that will be needed. I'm not sure we can trust him to make those decisions anyway. For me, the first appointment is a president. ASAP, ASAP. Then we can take a wrecking ball to the coaching staff. I still want Mayock to stay as GM, but I always saw him as a part of a double act with Gruden, and it wouldn't surprise me if a TV role with Rich Eisen hasn't already been discussed. And who could blame him? The next head coach appointment not only has to be good enough to build on the current foundation, but big enough to convince our good youngsters like Renfro, Crosby, Hobbs, etc., that the cause is still a just one. We can, and I'm sure we are, speculating as to which players will survive any call. Although I'm not sure the changes on the roster will be as sweeping as some may think, but we'll have plenty on time to go over, and we'll have time to go over that detail on another day. I wish I was a fly on the wall during the week when everybody is on the practice field, because the one question that keeps running around my head is, what the hell do the coaches do during the week to prepare these players? Listening to
Divine
Diablo's, thank you, comments, it would seem very little. This lot, particularly Bisaccia and Olsen, make Dennis Allen look like an improvement. I'm growing more and more convinced that Bisaccia drew a short straw and didn't want the job in the first place, as I had said last week. Olsen couldn't find his ass with a map if he was sat on his hands. We've got so many players that have lost their confidence in the system, the coaches and their own teammates, that the season can't end quick enough. It's hard to imagine anything other than 6-11. From here... And that's so unacceptable. I remember Mikey saying a few years ago, probably something like, Murph! Okay, anyway, I remember Mikey saying a few years ago that the worst place to finish is 500 because you're stuck in the middle of the pack as far as draft pick, which is very true. But I'd snatch your hand off for a 9-8 finish right now. I haven't seen or heard anything yet, but if I do hear one person on the staff blame the off-field dramas for the season going down the crapper, I will lose my shit completely. Of course, the loss of life was a tragedy, and I'd never dismiss that. But if they choose that as some sort of reason, I'm going to go ape. I may be unpopular when I say it, and I don't want to cause offense, but what happened off the field shouldn't matter when it comes to game day. As far as the players are concerned, get over it, do your job. It didn't stop Brent Favre from bawling out the night after he lost his father. Come on,
touchdowns
people.
Against
wow.
Yeah,
so prepare yourselves for many changes during the coming months. Everybody, it's going to be busy, but rest assured one thing won't change, and that's my love for this crazy-ass GD football team. I will not be swayed in my loyalty, and despite the fact that on Sunday I could have shaken them all warmly by the throat, I still love them all dearly because they wear that shield. Next stop, the warm climate and welcoming heartlands of Cleveland. Let's go, Raiders! Stay safe, RFR family. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Egerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Polly Award winner 2019, Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, BRT Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, five-time, plus one, winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler
Let's
Award.
go, Paul. Nice job, Paul. So while I play 30 seconds of Paul, for those of you that are on the YouTube, I'm going to flash this up here. And for those of you that are on the audio version of the podcast, you can find all of our merch just by going to RaidersFanRadio.com and click the gear button. And I'm going to show you what Paul bought this week. He got it, or at least he got his new long sleeve Raiders Fan Radio t-shirt.
Oh, no way.
And a bunch of stickers for his new email machine.
Yes.
So we thank you so much, Paul, man, for the amazing, amazing support you give us here at Raiders Fan Radio.
Paul!
Paul! Paul! Paul!
Paul. Paul.
Paul!
Paul.
Paul! Paul!
Paul.
Paul!
Paul. Paul. Paul.
Claude! Claude! Claude!
Paul.
Paul! Paul! Paul!
Shit.
Paul! Paul!
Paul. Your name, Paul? Hello. Paul. Hello. Paul.
I met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul. Yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul!
Hi. I'm Paul.
All right, we appreciate Paul so very, very much there. And again, yeah, you can email the show anytime at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. You can participate in our amazing chat room each and every week at YouTube.com/RaidersFanRadio. Saw a comment in there from our buddy Raider Loco, who says, did we see the comments from Tim Brown this week?
Yes.
This is legit. So Mosh, you may not have seen this because you don't do the socials. So Timmy Brown came out with a statement on Twitter, and he says, at the end of the 99 season, it was a game changer for our team. It's the last game of the year. We have nothing to play for, but Kansas City is playing for the divisional title. We got down early in the game, and by half, we were down by 17. But something happened in the locker room that guys started talking about being sick and tired of losing to Kansas City and losing, period. There was a challenge issued. If you don't care, don't come out of the locker room. Well, we came out of the locker room, overcame the deficit, and beat Kansas City. That had only been done once in my previous 11 years.
Wow.
That catapulted us to the next 3 years to a Super Bowl, 2 AFC championship games, and the Tuck Rule game. Someone in the locker room has got to grab this team by the throat and refuse to allow them to fail. The question is, who is that guy or guys, and can they still stand up? And then in response to that, Rich Gannon, your 2002 NFL MVP, says, wow, well said, Captain. I remember being in that locker room. And I also remember you bawling out every time you stepped on a football field. That's the kind of freaking mentality that we need to have. That's that, Mosh, that's that legacy you're talking about that we passed down. Like, that's the kind of mentality that hopefully will be applied.
And that's something that doesn't matter what venue you play in.
Amen.
That doesn't matter if you're in Foxborough, if you're in Tampa, if you're in effing Green Bay or Kansas City or San Francisco or wherever the hell you're at. Because when it all comes down to it, you're on a piece of grass, whether it's real or whether it's artificial, and it's 100 yards long, and there's 2 yellow goalposts, and that's where you're at. It doesn't matter.
Let's effing go, man.
It doesn't matter what city it's
yes. in. Amen, Mosh. Freaking man. All right, so next up here on the Sea of Fans mailbag, you can call the show anytime, 909-345-3346. And if you leave a message 3 times or email us an indefinite amount of times, we refer to you as a made man or a made woman. And if you want to get made here on Raiders Fan Radio, call us in. And we got one new caller this week, and we got some old school guys, and we appreciate all of these. The passion from Raider Nation is unmatched. Win, lose, or tie, it is freaking Raiders till we die. And we kick off this segment always with our capo, because every crew needs a captain. He is Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider.
Hit the like button for Aaron.
Greetings, Don Murph, Consigliere Moss, Underboss Sonny, Sergeant Arms, the Sizzler, Big Raider Trucker. Young Chili Dog from Wooden Universe speaks. Ramon the Mean King. Continue to get well, homie. Swag Jeff, Ron the Mater Raider, QB Jeff, Nation. What's the definition of insanity? Would it be meeting on, I don't know, the Chiefs logo prior to competing on the road against the Chiefs whenever they got you outmanned, out-prepared, and out-hearted in every single phase of the game, or possibly rooting for a team year in and year out that has no commitment to excellence. Maybe even never drafting a linebacker to lead a porous defense after a porous defense. Y'all know me. The draft is my thing. So I submit to you a prospect from the University of Michigan, co-defensive player of the year in Big Ten, and also at 6'5", 250 pounds, I present to you David Ojabo.
Yeah.
I mean, go to the YouTube.
He's legit.
Nation,
He's legit.
See what this cat's all about. Now, yesterday, Colin Cowherd, he suggested that Derek Carr deserves better than the Raiders. I say the nation deserves better than Derek Carr and his whack-ass teammates. Now, Cowherd, he went on and he stated that the Raiders can get a boatload in return for trading DC4, who's about to enter his last year of his contract. I'll be damned if I haven't been saying that for a long time. Now, make DC4 the next Khalil Mack. But for those of us of age, the next Herschel Walker. Let Mayak actually have an entire Raiders draft for once.
I agree.
We had the best bridge quarterback that money can buy. MMA, Marcus Mariota, if you don't know him, the oos to some I respect. Now, let's use MMA in 2022. Now, Coach Bisaccia, he went on and said that, we're all disappointed. And he doesn't believe in frustration because he believes that's wasted energy. The coaches, they wonder what else they can do in order to help the players. Well, shit, here's the thought. How about motivating them fools, holding them accountable, checking their chins, getting in their grill, making sure that BS they do on the practice fields translates into the game. I mean, well, I'll hold that for a little bit later. Tom Brady, he threw his 700th touchdown pass this Sunday in an overtime win, but Derek Carr uttered his 700th excuse as to why we lost yet again, especially to our arch rival. Unacceptable. Silver linings. Divine Diablo. Y'all know why. As a rookie, Diablo is showing the type of leadership we've been clamoring for. Now, after the game, KJ Wright, longer tooth acquisition from Seattle, went on to say that he was embarrassed. Well, I'm glad that you took this many losses in order to come to the realization that your ass embarrassed. Hell, we're all embarrassed. We need to clean house. We've got players like Diablo, Trayvon Merritt, Trayvon Mullen, Gillespie, Ngakoue, the Condor. We've got a young core that we can build around on defense. And I say we need to draft wholesale on defense this coming spring. And y'all meet me at the draft in LV. That's the place to be. And RFR, we will be doing it big.
Let's go.
But to get back to the matter at hand, on offense, we need to go complete, and I mean complete free agency. Clean house on both sides of the ball. Clean house. Get a new coaching staff, hopefully a red ass, but I don't want to see these up-and-coming 30-somethings try to lead the organization. We did that once, Dennis Allen, and we doubled down again whenever we fired that guy for cause. Hail to Al, by the way. We don't need any more Kiffin types. That's what I want us to do. We ain't that far away, but we keep rowing further and further from shore by doing the same damn thing. The hit list. Jonathan Abram, Stan Levitt, our entire offensive line, our defensive tackles, Josh Jacobs. Thank you for setting the tone and putting yourself before everybody else, you ill-prepared, overrated Alabama product. All the wide receivers number 13, Boston Monroe. Jonathan Abram again, simply because I can put him on the list again. Insurrectionist and the entire coaching staff.
Oh my gosh, Aaron the Q-Dog, freaking Raider if you need
beautiful.
it, man. It's
Yeah.
so freaking good,
so
man.
good, man.
That's the reason he leads this whole thing off.
And
man.
I love, he had a different feel today. He had a different vibe. He was just kind of like chilling. And
Yeah.
and just like talking shit, man. I
love that, man. Absolutely. Yeah, great points from Aaron, and I look forward to linking up with Aaron in Las Vegas for the draft, of course. And and one of the things that he said there, and guys, we're gonna run long tonight a little bit. You guys good? Good. Okay. All right. So one of the things that was interesting is that he said, I hope our next coach is a red ass. We talked a lot about that, about having a red ass coach, and that's somebody like Jim Harbaugh. Frankly, that's what John Gruden was. Somebody with a little bit of pissed off to him. Mosh, don't you think that isn't that like the best Raider coaches are the ones that are kind of a little angry?
Yep.
Well, they're 100% in, and they're just a little titched.
Yeah.
They're just a little titched, to use a Southern colloquialism.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need that. And Gruden was definitely a little titched.
He was a little
Madden was a little titched.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The guy that wouldn't fly, I mean, he was, those are the best. Those are the best.
Absolutely.
Al was titched.
Definitely. Absolutely. All right, next up, let's go to our good friend Mojo. He is down there in long
I
time.
know him.
You know this guy. We all know this guy. He's the maid of the made men around here.
Young Billy Dog.
Well, it's the morning after, fellas. This is Mojo from San Diego. Shout out to the host. Shout out to all the made men and women. Special shout out to my capo. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm severely hungover. I'm driving 30 minutes to my gig here on the road, and things are starting to kind of come back to me. Not very clear, but I was thinking about, here I am driving down the road, and I love this time of year, right? The leaves start turning colors. It gets a little nippy outside, right? Maybe some chocolate and, some hot chocolate, maybe an extra blanket, right? Just kind of feels good. There's something else that always happens this time of year, right? The Raiders completely shit the bed. And I'm sick of it, man. We just got blown out by our arch nemesis. It was comical. I went to the bar with the guys to watch this game, and at some point, before they turned it off, like the broadcast just stopped and they went to a more competitive game, at some point, I was actually enjoying the ass beating that we were taking. I think that's called Stockholm Syndrome, where you actually start feeling feelings for your captors, right? The people that are holding you down. Well, I feel like we've all, Raider Nation, been living with some Stockholm Syndrome here, man. We got to break these chains, fellas. We got to rebuild this franchise. I don't just buckle up. It's going to be a long couple years, but at least we're still the best fans in football.
Let's go.
So have a great week. Happy holidays. Till next time, just win possibly.
I love when the universe speaks needs a new shirt that says "Just win possibly."
Just win possibly. Oh, that's amazing, Mojo, man. We appreciate you, and definitely support Mojo's podcast. When the universe speaks, those guys are incredible, super funny, and we love Mojo, man. Great stuff. All right, next up. So speaking of old school guys around here. So I started Raiders Fan Radio back in 2012 with my cousin Sonny, and every once in a while we hear from cousin Sonny, and it's always good to hear from him. So let's check in with cousin Sonny.
Murph, Mosh, Swag, Capo, and the rest of the made men. It ain't about what it used to be anymore, boys. Leaders lead, Murph. Leaders lead. There is a crisis in our world today, Murph. There's a crisis of leadership. We see it in countries and local governments. We see it in businesses. We see it in families. Murph, this past year I've done over 1,000 counseling sessions with over 100 different people from many walks of life. I've met with young kids who've lost their father. Met with young ladies who were abused and discarded at a young age. I've met with middle-aged adults who are tired of the same old. And Murph, the answer is always the same. After the empathy, after the listening, after the human-to-human connection, the answer is always, what are you going to do about it? How can I help you? How can I assist you? How can I strategize and help you think? But what are you going to do about it? Because leadership starts from within a person's own soul. There has to be movement, desire, and passion to change. Murph, that's the question I'm asking these Raiders. Yeah, John Gruden got exposed. Ruggs fell victim to a temptation we have all struggled with many times before, only his outcomes cost him severe consequences. But this is my question, Murph. What the fuck are you going to do about it, Derek Carr? You bitch! It took a rookie linebacker to say something. And what the fuck are you going to do about it, Mark Davis? Are you a Davis? I got my hats, I got my jerseys, I got my hoodies. I ain't buying another fucking thing.
I don't believe him.
No, he'll have a new jersey.
He's also got his checking account and his slush fund. He's going to be buying.
He'll have a new hoodie. But appreciate the passion as always, and appreciate hearing from Cousin Sonny. All right, next up. So this is a new caller, I believe. I don't think we've heard from this guy yet. He is, speaking of San Diego, where Mojo's at. This is Adam in San Diego.
What up, guys? This is Adam, San Diego. There you go. You know, I just want to call and I seen some stupid stuff on Facebook about Raider fans being shamed and put brown bags over their heads.
Never.
Man, these Vegas fans, I will say this, you guys ain't figured out how to be Raider fans yet. It don't matter if we lose by 99 points. We are proud to be a Raider fan.
Let's go.
It ain't about winning and losing or tying. This is a nation. We are here to the end. This is till the casket drop. I don't think you heard me. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
I mean, come on now. Yeah, we got our ass whooped. But you know what? This upcoming Saturday, I'm going to be excited to watch my Raiders. And you know what? The next week, I'm going to be excited to watch my Raiders until we ain't playing no more.
That's
regardless if we make the playoffs or we don't. Y'all need to get y'all act together. Straighten up and fly right. God. And the players, too. This ain't just for the fans. But these Vegas fans, they got to figure it out because it's pitiful watching the Raider games and seeing the fans act the way they act. Like, punch somebody in the face. All right, y'all. I'm out of here.
I appreciate Adam in San Diego, man. Again, we're not advocates of violence or asshole behavior, but the spirit of it, of what he's trying to say is that, like, yeah, man, have that edge to you, Raider Nation, man. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the foundation we're built upon. Adam, appreciate you, man. 2 more calls, and you can become a made man here at Raiders Fan Radio. All right, here's one of them. This guy's an all-timer for me, man. You know, I always lobby for him to get Sizzlers. I won't put my thumb on the scale, but I always love hearing from Rev Raider. We hadn't heard from him until last week, and glad to hear from him again.
What's going on, Murph, Uncle Mosh, Young Swaggo? This is Rev Raider caller from Jersey. Man, I just wanted to get on and talk that bovine excrement because that's exactly what it was last weekend. Man. Well, now that I got some of my emotions out of the way, you know, and went back and looked at some of the game film and stuff, we were clearly outclassed, mainly outcoached. There's a lot of things that were wrong that I saw. I mean, first off, going out on another team's emblem, you know, with our record and like how we can be back and forth with the way we play, like that video, that guy says, "You're not that guy, pal. We're not those guys." But
that's what you were
basically saying. On defense, definitely outcoached. Because you could see they were scared of the D-line, and they were doing things like chipping Yannick and Max, and we never adjusted to it. They were looking at how we were watching the cadences, and they were fooling us off of that. That was bad. Miscommunication in the defense. Offense, terrible. I mean, aside from the turnovers, offensive line, man, they were getting beat worse than a 15-year-old high school geek, his member, watching Japanese anime. That's basically how I could sum it up. Colton Miller, he was getting ate up. Alex Leatherwood, Parker, he needs to be on the practice squad or something like that. That guy's terrible. I mean, every other play, literally, one of them were getting killed, and the player was in DC's face. Even something like those quick passes that he was making through a lot of the game, it was basically because of them. You know, he had no time. Even if he shifted in the pocket, they were still breaking them down. They were getting killed. As far as Josh Jacobs, I really think goes back again to coaching. I really think he's missing our last running backs coach, because he's doing a lot of things that aren't similar to what he was doing before. He's not running behind his pads. You can notice that. He's not going after people. He's breaking it outside. You know, as a former running back, that's showing some signs that you have a lack of trust in your offensive line. But different things like that, you could tell that there's something different. It's either that or he's still injured and he's not saying something, because he's definitely not running behind his pads. He's not making people give business decisions. But that's all I got. We got to tighten up.
All right, let's go. Nice job, Rev Raider. Always good to hear from you, my friend. I appreciate that call. All right, a couple more to get to, and then we're going to be out of here for the night. Appreciate you hanging in here with us for this long episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Let's hear from our buddy. He calls himself the northernmost Raider fan. He's up there in Alaska. He is Kill Jadis, with always a guest star.
So let me get this straight. You go into Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, and you go onto the Kansas City Chiefs logo to do a pregame huddle to hype and motivate yourselves up? Nice. I like it. The boldness, the balls you guys have. Yeah. I love the fire. I mean, it looks like you guys are finally getting it. You gotta have that old school grit about you, you know? I love it. I love it, Raiders. Now all you need to do is just not lose 48-9. The utter incompetence of this team. Fumbling the ball for the Chiefs to get a touchdown within 15 seconds of the game, not put a single point on the board until you guys are down 35-0. You guys can kiss my there you go. I'm looking for you. Son of a, you're not going to do the phone call without me, are you? No, I'm just starting a phone call. Oh, good. I can join you then. Now listen, don't get your panties up in a bunch, because we still have a adult chance. What we do? We still get a good enough record to sneak into the wild card spot. Sure, it was a bit of a letdown, but don't you worry. I mean, look inside your car. It's overflowing with trash. But yeah, we can clean it up though, to where it's cleaner and meaner than ever. The Macho Man Radio Savage knows his team. Yeah, this is a team that's gonna turn it back around. The winds will blow in our direction. When that happens, there'll be no one to stop us. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, then whose trash is all of this? Well, honestly, it's yours and your wife's. Yeah, except for my wife doesn't eat Slim Jims. Right now, we are sitting in a vehicle filled with Slim Jim wrappers. Your Slim Jim wrappers, because you don't listen to me when I tell you to take the trash out of my car. No, hold on now. Your wife stresses your car too. Don't forget that. Except for your trash has covered her trash and my trash together. And that's what the Raiders need to do. Because right now, we are my car. Fill the trash. And Diablo said something that there are some players on the team that aren't trying. Well, you know what? Cars confirmed it too. So you need to be like our team and take out the trash. Okay, well then can we do it now? Ugh, can you at least help me? Oh, if only I could get rid of the trash that's in our locker room. Too bad I couldn't, because I'll be violent about it. Are you gonna help me? No, this is your problem. A very serious problem. So you have to deal with it yourself. Ugh, bring on the Cleveland Browns. Oh, yeah.
All right. There he is. Kill Jadis with Raider Macho Savage, man. Appreciate that. All right, one more to get to before Uncle Mosh awards the Sizzler Award, which is the best emailer or phone caller of the night. Let's check in with our buddy. We call him the Houstorian. He is down there in Texas. He is Houston Raiders Steve.
Murph, Mosh, Swag Jeff, Nation, Houston Raiders Steve. Hey, I read an article by Mary Kay Shabbat, whatever her name is, and she says even with 8 players on COVID, the Cleveland Browns are going to beat the Raiders. Hey, you know what? Didn't Cleveland have like 6
times more quarterbacks go through their system in the last 10 years than Elizabeth Taylor had husbands. At the beginning of the game, if there is a game, if they don't forfeit the game, let's all just flush our toilets to get Cleveland out of our sanitation systems in our houses. Everybody in Raider Nation just flush the toilet. To carry. Cleveland sucks. 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 Ohio! I tell you what, man. Let's just go out and beat those bums. We're Rodney Dangerfield. We don't get any respect. In my opinion. Yeah, that's right, Cleveland. Your team sucks. Who goes to Cleveland in the wintertime for vacation? Buffalo. For Pittsburgh. The Red Sox. Give me a break. This team is a joke. Yeah, I remember the Cardiac Kids. Yeah, they lost that game against us when Mike Davis intercepted in the end zone. Yeah, Cleveland. What a freaking joke. Let's just go out and beat those, you know what? Let's just flush them out. Screw them. Goodbye.
Oh, my gosh.
Houston Raiders Steve with a quick hit there, man. Awesome job.
Gosh.
All right, Uncle Mosh, so who do you got tonight?
Well, you know, we started our night with a couple of emails from from Matthew Mangus, and then Paul had his great line about taking a dump on the logo in Arrowhead Stadium, and Capo came in with a voicemail. Again, like so many other people, describing insanity, and then came up with what he does, and that was a good pick for the draft.
Nice, yes.
Mojo was so upset. He was in a bar, and he got Stockholm Syndrome. He enjoyed watching us get our ass beat. He was hungover for it the next day. Sonny, are you listening? What are you going to do about it? Rev, or I guess it was Adam from San Diego. He's proud to be a Raider fan, win, lose, or tie.
Let's go.
Raiders till he dies. Rev, 3 words, outclassed and outcoached. Kill Jadis. Started the call on his own without Macho. Macho was pissed, but Macho came in and was very optimistic. And then they went into this rant about the dirtiness of a car. You know what? I hate a dirty car, so I'm with you. And Houston Raiders Steve brought up Liz Taylor, Drew Carey, and anti-Cleveland. I'm with Steve. I hate Cleveland. Cleveland is a terrible place. It's an awful, horrible place. I feel sorry for anybody that's there that's a Raider fan. I mean, their lakes and rivers catch on fire. It's a terrible place to be. So, this week's Sizzler Award goes to the one and only Steve.
I am
Steve.
Sizzler. Sizzler. Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today!
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Everyone in Cleveland has COVID.
You're so stupid.
Hit that like button before you bail on us, folks.
Absolutely. Hit that like, hit that subscribe.
And be nice in the chat, damn it.
Are you having to regulate in there, Jeff?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay.
Oh,
Play
I'm
nice.
sorry.
And people
Play
are taking
nice,
shots at me. And the moderator doesn't take that well.
What? Yeah, because Ron's he's attending a family business, so he's not in there. So
be nice to Swag.
What's going on there, man? You need to call anybody out? Like,
no, it's fine. I'll just have another drink.
Be nice to your host, because this is our playroom, and we'll just kick you out.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be nice to one another. Like, listen, there's and I don't know what's going on in there, but I will say this: that on the occasion that we'll get someone that'll get in there and get a little feisty, you can have an alternate opinion. We don't expect you to agree with us, but you got to be kind.
Michelle Sweat says, "I hope we win on Saturday, so some of y'all can come to the chat with a better effing attitude."
Yeah, okay, all right. Thank you. Very well said, Michelle. Absolutely. Lighten the hell up, man. It's just football, man. We may be for life, but this is not life, man. This is just playtime. So appreciate you, Raider Nation, for checking us out. Appreciate everybody in the chat room. Kill Jadis 907. Actually, I'm going to save that for Jeff to shout out the chat room. Let me just thank my co-host tonight. Thank you, Swag Jeff. Thank you, Uncle Mosh. Hey, look, man. I came into this thing feeling a little tight about what we were going to talk about, but I love the passionate discussion. I love the amazing back and forth with you guys. That's what makes this stuff so fun, and we appreciate everybody that's tuning in tonight. Again, hit that audio podcast. Just search for Raiders Fan Radio. Swag Jeff, take us out.
Yeah, we got Mark Thompson in there, Aussie Raider Aaron, Kill Jadis, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Paul is in there, Tall Ken Shit, Mark Thompson, Michelle Sweat, Tyrone Graves, Black Sunday Joel, Kill Jadis, Piper 1975. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ebony Graves throwing a $5 donation in
thank
there.
you so much.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Join us every week, every Wednesday. Uncle Mosh, take us home.
Wow.
Read that comment, Mosh, from Ebony Graves.
It said, had a huge combination celebration this weekend. The hubby's birthday and our daughter graduated and got her master's this weekend.
Let's go. That's awesome, man. Right on. Congratulations.
Fantastic. We're all about education around here. I love it. Well, tonight you've been listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
Yeah.
And we've had a little bit of a session.
Yeah.
I got my little buddy Swaggy J over there, and I got my little nephew over there, and you got your old Uncle Mosh here. You've been listening to Raiders Fan Radio, where we took a lighter side journey into the dark side, and after last week, it really was a dark side. Remember, boys and girls, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland. Good night, everybody. Drive safe. Get your shots. Wear your masks. Adios, malingerers, which is most of our team. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. Be nice to Swaggy J. Good night. God bless.
Yeah, seriously.
He's a little bit of
Goodbye.
a baby. He'll get his feelings hurt.
Shut up.